Oh, yes, everybody. Welcome into the Couch Potato Sports Show. It is me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, as we're here on our Sunday tradition that continues on into our 15th year. It's week number 11 of the NFL as we get set to look at them all from top to bottom to top, sideways to left, right to left. I don't know. We're going to look at them all today. And we have him in the green room. There he is. Oh, yes. Maybe I have to get something different. I don't know. Well, that right there. The smack across the head. Good morning, Podfather. How are you this morning?
Well, let me just say that any chance that my screen starts to freeze here, blame Netflix, okay? Because it has nothing to do with me.
Okay, very good. Sort of like Netflix on the Tyson fight and everything.
They were not ready for that. As far as
definitely not.
I mean, and the thing is, they better get their shit together because if they're going to have the NFL, they're going to have WWE, they're going to have anything more mainstream than just boxing. They better get their shit together because I got news for you. Ain't that? I mean, first of all, people can find other ways to view your material. I mean, there are pirating websites out there that'll do that.
Yep.
You're asking people to pay $14 to $16 a month to use your service, and it happened to come out the same day as the boxing match came out the same day as the final 5 episodes of Cobra Kai for season 6. So you had so much bandwidth going on just between those two things alone that you got to get your shit together because look, WWE Monday Night is not going to draw nearly what Mike Tyson did for a one-time deal.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
But still, though, I mean, WrestleMania when that comes out, that's going right to Netflix. So
is WrestleMania going to Netflix or is it staying on NBC on Peacock?
That's part of the deal. The Peacock deal expires at the end of next year, I believe.
Okay.
So I believe everything will switch over to Netflix just shortly after. So they got a while to get their shit together. But man, look, we all saw it. Friday night took place live in Arlington at Jerry's World.
Mm-hmm.
And people expected the ending of Rocky Balboa. Instead, they've got what they got. Because, once again, it's only Sylvester Stallone can be 60 years old and still look like a champion. So that was a hard watch. But then again, I mean, the undercard was actually better than the actual main event. I mean, the girl
fight was awesome.
The girl fight was awesome. The match before that for the welterweight title, that was really good. I missed the first match, but yeah, it was. It was.
How long did it take you to get in over on Netflix?
I was in and out quite a bit because it kept freezing up on me, and then eventually towards the main event, I did something to where I waited about 5 minutes or so, 5 or 10 minutes, and then I clocked in and I clicked back on, so I wasn't necessarily live, and then I caught everything just fine. But you can't rely on people to have that kind of patience. So,
but yeah, exactly. I mean, but I don't know how they're going to write this off as, well, you got other stuff to look at and, you pay, you're not necessarily paying for Netflix to see this only. Maybe people were, and that it's almost like a pay preview, but it's a month. You get a whole month of, whatever you're looking at.
The other program, yeah.
Yeah. Which, hey, I'll give them this. Their program. I watch Netflix all the time, but at the same time, you got to be able to bring your stuff, bring it with quality, or you're gonna have problems. Like I haven't heard much backlash against Netflix in reality, which I think they deserve a little bit. So I don't know.
It's funny because me and my son went to go see the movie Red One in the theaters yesterday.
Okay.
And the movie's good. I mean, I could see them doing a sequel, but then I'm like, it can't be released in the theater because of all the streaming sites that are out there. It's cheaper to put it out there and on the streaming. I mean, it's owned by Amazon, so they can put Amazon can just grab a hold of it and just throw it out there, and everybody be fine with it. I mean, hell, what was it recently? I've been dying to go see the new Saturday Night Live movie that came out about the first ever SNL,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't play here at all in Ardmore at all. I mean, you had to go almost down to Highland Village, Texas, to enjoy it. And I was like, I'm not making that drive for a movie that might be okay. But
And we'll be out in video next month.
Well, that's the thing, because a month later, I was able to buy it on Amazon. So I saw the movie this past weekend. They looked a lot on the table, but at the same time, it was like it was so hectic and crazy, and you couldn't really get into the story as far as sit down and actually enjoy the character. You saw how manic it was for the first 9 minutes leading up to SNL.
Yep.
Which I guess would make sense, because that's kind of message they were trying to go across, and I can see Oscar buzz with it and everything else, because it was really well acted by everybody. I mean, I think they underutilized the Belushi character a little bit, but then I don't know how accurate that really was, considering that he didn't really write anything. He was always a good player, and Aykroyd wrote a lot of shit for him, and he wasn't really active for that first ever episode. I mean, he was there, but he wasn't really involved in every scene. So, I mean, I kind of got that, and I was like, well, this would be a kind of a cool thing to see, and then go back and watch the first ever episode on Peacock and see how the first SNL really played out in its entirety. It's a hard watch. It's 50 years ago, so it's a hard watch. So
yeah, it's a different type of comedy.
Yeah, and I mean, to see how they got George Carlin up on stage after he was blacked out from being drugged all to hell at that point. And to watch what Jim Henson had to do with the Muppets. The Muppets were on SNL, and we're not talking about Big Bird and all. We're talking about a new form of Muppets were on SNL at the time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't great, but then there was a short film by Albert Brooks, and there were three musical acts. Billy Crystal got cut from the show, who would later be one of the members of there for about a year after during the Dick Ebersol years.
Yeah,
but it was. I mean, and the guy who played Billy Crystal was spot on. You saw Billy Crystal back in the day. So I mean, again, everybody was great. It left a lot more for me to want to see more of, but at the same time, you only got 90 minutes to enjoy it. So
exactly. Well, there he is in the green room. That's the one, the only person that has picked every game throughout the time. I came close to that last week. I only missed one. I thought I was going to get it too, but there it is.
Wait a minute.
Obi-Wan, good morning, my friend.
What did you say? I picked every game so far this year?
No, that 1 week you picked every game. Yeah, and last week I came close. That New Orleans game got me, or I would have been there right there with you.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's been downhill ever since.
Yeah.
trying to
Obi, you made the deal with the devil the wrong time of the year.
I guess I did. Yes. I mean,
so wait till last week.
I'm 3 games behind Fred now, and it's like,
well, hey, 1 week you can. Hey. My brother, and I love him. He's been known to have 3 or 4 weeks, or three or 4 correct picks in a week. So it's not all over. It's only week 11. We got 7 more, actually 8. Count this week, obviously. 8 more weeks to try to get. I'm 7 behind him, I think, or something like that. So, but
hey, how about college football last night? ASU, a big win over Kansas State at Kansas State. Huge win for the Sun Devil program.
Yeah, and
next week we play the Mormon boys for BYU.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Playing in Tempe?
Yep, at Tempe.
Are they still in first place?
All the Mormons will be there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that that Mesa Temple will be
empty.
Be rocking. It's like a concert over there.
Yeah. Are they still in first place of the Big 12?
We are 1 game behind BYU.
No, I'm
in the Big 12.
I'm in BYU. Are they still?
Oh yeah. Even though they lost last night, BYU's still in first place.
Ooh, BYU lost. Shoot.
Yeah. So they had a 2-game lead.
Yeah. So. I have not kept up with college football at all. I haven't had
Well,
time.
it was fun last night. My nephew and I, we went to TC's and we watched the ASU game, and right beside it, we were watching the Georgia beatdown of Tennessee,
Oh
which
wow,
kind of
Tennessee got beat down.
disappointed me because I was wanting Tennessee to beat Georgia.
Maybe that's the reason why Cuervo's a little late this morning.
Maybe
You know,
he could be still crying.
he's probably still.
Hey, one thing is Georgia's right for the picking this year, though, because I mean, their quarterback Beck, who's losing draft stock really quick.
He's not playing well this year.
No, I mean he's a turnover machine right now. So, I mean,
But
it ain't good for him.
And how did your Ohio State? Where are your Buckeyes in the list?
We played Northwestern yesterday at Wrigley Field, and
Really?
we
At
won
Wrigley?
at Wrigley, and we won 31-7.
Wow. God. Michigan is probably. I
Michigan
literally
was-
have.
They were off this week, so
They're off. Okay. Yeah. I've literally not kept up. Zero. Mainly because I expected it after Harbaugh's exit. What was going to end up happening.
he completely.
I will say this though. I went and got me a PS5 this past week.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've been playing college football on there because I've been dying for that to come back on the game consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that thing is. I mean, what the only thing they're missing is the actual real names of the head coaches. So like even Dion couldn't get a mention on this game. So I mean, I'm sure that's a work in progress. But I mean, this to have all the players on there that have have NIL deals and everything else on there. That's a very cool thing. And plus, you can once again, like before, you can import that player to your Madden game as well. And I had bought the Madden for the PS4. Well, when I converted to the PS5, the game I didn't buy the game at all. It transferred over to that, and it upgraded the game itself.
Oh,
so
wow.
that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So that do they have like a dominant team or a dominant player?
I mean, Sanders is still in there. Beck's in there. I mean, all the players that are playing now are still in there. It's so hard to know who the dominant player is because if you're playing as you, then you're pretty much a dominant player because you're controlling you. And
Gotcha.
Also depends what level you're playing at. Like I finally figured out the best way to throw the deep bomb on the easy level because you get that defender like lined up against your receiver. Your receiver will right past him eventually and just dunk it over him at that point. So, but if he plays off of him, good luck with that because they found a way to capitalize off that.
So it's not like the old time like Sonny and I used to playing I think it was in television NFL and Bo Jackson was
But
that's a callback. That's a you guys
Jackson's head square.
You guys are playing. I mean, I remember what was it? I had a bunch of my high school buddies. They always came over because I was the one per kid who had like all the game systems. So they come over and play Tecmo Bowl. And and we're all sitting there and I remember like the Dallas Cowboys were like number 70 out of 100, and like the number one team was like probably the Niners or whatever it was.
Yeah,
and it was like, and I had like Danny White was a part of the first one, I believe, and he was so slow. I'm like, that's about right. I mean, I can't argue with that anymore. No, but what I mean, just the idea that how much those games have changed over the years. There's like YouTube sites that actually have that they have a thing where they show you how football like Madden has changed since its inception to now. And it's almost as good as like saying, like my son came in the living room. He's like saying, "Who's playing?" I'm like, TCU and whoever else playing. It's like, "Oh, who's winning?" I'm like, "Well, I'm killing him." "Oh, that's you playing." I thought that was a real game. I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, back in the day, also Sonny and I, we would stay up wee hours of the morning playing Pebble Beach golf.
Oh yeah.
Oh God! And we get so like everything. We got so competitive against each other.
Yeah. And
I'll say this. I know EA has got to do a lot of things where they need to change some of their stuff and upgrade it more. but they're still ahead of the pack from everything else. I mean, with the golf game, the basketball game, I mean, they don't have baseball, which is weird, but I mean, as far as like everything else, I mean, they're ahead of the pack when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
all
right, guys, let's kick it. First of all, before we go, Obi, what was your take up on the boxing match? Did you watch it? Did you care? What was your look?
I didn't watch it. For number one, we don't get Netflix. I did care. I wanted Tyson to just beat the pulp out of Jake Paul.
Yeah, you messaged me. Yeah, you messaged me on the grill thing and like saying who you pick. I'm like, dude, I don't live in a world where Jake Paul has beaten Mike Tyson.
I cannot stand him. And here's my take on this. If Jake Paul wants to call himself a professional fighter, then fight the active guys in your weight class, and you will get destroyed.
Yeah,
he's fighting retired MMA fighters, and he's fighting 58-year-old men.
Yeah.
How can you call yourself a professional fighter? I don't know.
Listen, if we're not too careful, he's going to call Sylvester Stallone because he wants to take on Rocky.
Could be.
And guess what? I still pick Rocky.
I guess I don't understand this guy's popularity. The guy gets paid $40 million to do this, and Tyson only 20. I mean,
listen, Sonny, you're in the same business as him. You're an influencer. He just does it better than you do. That's all it is. I mean,
everybody does it better than me. I'm not an influencer at all.
You have a show here. This is what you do. You influence people to.
I have a podcast. That's what I'm an influencer as much as, forget it. I was going to go someplace, but I decided.
You have no analogy. You have no analogy.
Anyway, excuse me. That being said, and then the only co-host of this program, added to the stage, so he'll show up when it's there. Good to see you, Cuervo. Good morning. How you feeling, man?
Obi, good to see you.
Hey,
Podfather, good to see you. Sonny, not so much.
I can't tell. Are your eyes still bloodshot red from last night's loss?
Oh my God. Obi. Listen, I'm not one to use the refs as an excuse. There were some moments in that game where you can tell that Georgia was being a little favored in that game. I'm just gonna say it. Georgia got a little favoritism, and I get it. They're at home. You got to find a way to get them back in the playoff. Hey, it is what it is. Tennessee played a bad game. Too many penalties, pre-snap penalties. No pressure on Beck at all. Like, you got to get. I was yelling it multiple times at the TV. Get pressure on this kid. He was just. He could have ate a turkey sandwich in the pocket and still had time to throw the ball. Like, it was ridiculous. So
I want to see that.
Yeah,
Tennessee shot themselves in the foot, but at the same time, I think there were some things that went Georgia's way that should not have.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. That I know it's not just you. There's a lot of games that I see over the weekends on Saturdays and even on Sundays that the referees have influenced the outcome of a game, and that should never be the case. Now, I understand they're human, but when you have the factor of replay, and yet their replay shows something, and then they don't overturn it, or they overturned it, and you're saying, what? Why? It's a real head scratcher, and it's unfortunate that some of these games come down to, one bad call or one bad reversal and things like that. So that's my take.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Obi. Yeah, there's a lot of times where people think that one one call, oh, it doesn't matter. It does, because it changes the momentum of a football game. So
Exactly.
so I'll take you back to if you watched the sequence of the 2 fumbles that happened. The first one, yeah, it was, you can say that was an incomplete pass. That's fine, because it was a little forward pitch or whatever. That second one, though, when Beck threw it down the middle to number 4, well, I don't know his name, but and he turned around and he got the ball peanut punched. That was a fumble. I don't care what anybody said. That was a fumble that should have been Tennessee's ball at that moment. But because, they decided to find a way to keep it in Georgia's favor, and they called it incomplete, they went ahead and they went down and they scored a touchdown, and Tennessee just had a hard time regaining that momentum. But, hey, it is what it is, guys.
I saw a game at the end. We were watching in the bar, watching the ASU game, and there was another game that was come down to the end. The team's down by 8. I can't remember what the teams are playing, but the last play, the team that's behind, they have the ball like at the 15-yard line. Quarterback throws a pass in the end zone. There's 2 defenders around the receiver. One defender literally drug the receiver down to the ground, pulling on his jersey, and no penalty. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Everyone in the bar are like, oh my God.
They got to be able to throw a red flag like the coaches say, hey, and be able to reverse that call. That's one of the problems with it. There's only so many things that you're allowed to reverse. And when it's obvious stuff like that, that's got, especially with what is going on in sports today, whether it's NFL, college, or what's on the line. Well, there's a lot of things on the line outside the game as well, and they got to get that right.
Well, the biggest thing is now that gambling has become such a big thing with sports, that plays a factor into all this as well. So, I mean,
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Because the question you have to ask is, are the refs on the take? Are the refs trying to throw a game? Because it happened in basketball.
Yep.
Admittedly, it happened in the NBA.
Yep.
So, I mean, you do have to ask that question. And unfortunately, now that you're having football teams and basketball teams and everybody else in Vegas, playing. I mean, baseball going to have a baseball team here soon with the A's. You got hockey already having a team. You have to ask yourself, I mean, is gambling really going to be a force that we have to deal with outside of the actual play of the game?
Oh God, that's been something that they've had to deal with over years, though. And
but now it's wide open.
Yeah,
I mean, like, this isn't like, well, did Pete Rose gamble on baseball or not? I don't know. I mean, he says he did.
He did.
Let's do it. And he admitted that he did. But I mean, it took him how long to admit that? I mean, almost to his deathbed. So I mean, so we're to the point now to where, go back to the boxing match. Vegas didn't want to take any odds on the fight because they didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I mean, is this rigged or not? I mean, we have no idea. I mean,
exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of things that come with it and go on and stuff. So interesting. By the way, speaking of the fight, let's get Cuervo's take up on what the fight was all about, what he saw, what he thought. As far as I know, he watched it because he's a boxing nut. So what's your take on what you've seen on the Paul versus Tyson fight there, Cuervo?
I mean, Mike Tyson's my favorite boxer of all time, and to see, him out there was awesome to see him back in the ring, but then it was also sad to see the state of him at 58 years old. I was really looking forward to a little bit of nostalgia, like, even after seeing some of the training videos that were being posted about him, going through his training, and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, he may not move the way he did in the 90s, but you can still see the heart that he has. You can still see the effort that he puts into it. And then when you see what happened in the ring, it truly sucked. It sucked to see the way he actually performed in the ring. And I'm just getting a little tired of, this Jake Paul dude, beating up on basketball players and guys that way past their prime. Like, fight a real fighter, man. And the only time he really did was Tommy Fury that dominated that fight. If you watched it,
yeah.
So if he wants to be considered a boxer, he needs to go out there and fight some real competition. To brag about beating Mike Tyson at 58, I just don't know how much weight that holds. But I would have loved to see Mike put a little more into it. Then I find out the contract stipulations of it, and I'm like, okay, well, now I understand why he didn't really go balls to the wall. Because listen, I mean, it ain't no secret. The
I love it.
It ain't no secret some of the financial hardships that he's had. So for him to go out there and get his payday, I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit for going out there doing what he needed to do, make that cash. And
Dude, he made $20 million.
$40 million though to
Good for
Logan
them.
Paul.
He knows how to work.
$40 million to Jake Paul is kind of just I don't get it.
Dude, honestly, $6 million to the woman fighter who won the fight. She had the better fight out of the whole card.
Yeah, that fight was way better.
Yeah, that was a real good fight. So, but
he went the headbutt.
Yeah. Hey. All right. So we're all set. Philadelphia gets the win on Thursday Night Football. Not too many. I think some that were going after Washington. I just felt that the better team right now, just based upon what's going on. That game could have went either way, but with it being in Philly, that's another layer on top of
the base. Yeah,
it's a tough place to go in the first place, and the division game just made it that much interesting. I was hoping that it would be a game that would be something that would be really exciting, but really Philadelphia just kind of controlled that whole game. And even though the score kind of makes it look like it was a little bit more closer, it really wasn't. So, and that's a division game. So Cuervo, division game, big time game. As far as that is concerned, the NFC East is basically the Eagles' division to lose right now.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you look at the rest of the division and the direction that those teams are going. Not to give a chair shot so early at the Podfather, but he knows the deal. Dallas is moving in the wrong direction. The Giants are definitely moving in the wrong direction, and so the only competition they have is Washington, and they already proved that they can beat them. So it's the Eagles' division to lose, in my opinion.
I agree. Go ahead, Podfather.
I have a question. Would that game have been different having played in Washington?
I think it would have been. I think it would have been closer, but I still took Philly.
We'll find out when they do play in Washington.
Isn't it 3 or 4 weeks they're in Philly, or there's the last game of the year. I can't remember.
I mean, the Eagles are playing. I mean, they won 4 straight now.
No, it's actually 5 straight.
They're 5-0. Okay, their last 5-0.
Yeah, so I mean, they're playing really good. Washington, I mean, I still think you can't sleep on. I'm not saying they're the best team in the East, but I mean, they're that team that can come up and bite you. Again, Dallas and Giants, forget about it. I mean, those guys are battling for the worst top 5 of the league, I guess. So
actually, Philadelphia's won 6 in a row.
Okay.
6 in a row. Okay.
Yeah.
I bet Greg is happy with that.
Yeah.
Sure, Greg is happy about that. So.
Interestingly enough, good Thursday. Hey, 2 weeks in a row we've had 2 good Thursday night football games. So, that's always nice. Of course, we end it with Monday Night Football with the Dallas Cowboys. That's just sad enough. But next week it's Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Normally would have been a good game, but the problem is right now, it's Cleveland, but it's a AFC North matchup, which is always good, but the expectations obviously were that the Browns were going to be better. That's the reason why they were there. So, but anyway, that's the way it goes. All right, so that being said, of course, that's the name of the show. we might as well start getting into it. Hopefully, Bryce will be in here, and we'll talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and where they are. So it is week number 11. Let's go ahead and start it with the first game that's up on tap. That the ugly, ugly Green Men are going up against Cuervo's Chicago Bears. Lots of things going on in Chicago right now. A lot of things to talk about. New offensive coordinator after they pop that guy on out of there. And I remember talking about this with Cuervo. He wasn't very impressed with the guy that was who just got fired in the first place, um, especially leading a guy into the NFL right now where he needs more of the attention of outside, outside of football, but more football attention, more what he has to do from week in to week out and stuff like that. So that being said, Cuervo, you got a new offensive coordinator helping your new. I don't know is what's going on with Caleb. I'm going to ask you what's going on with Caleb Williams and things of that sort with your Chicago.
Well, what's going on is that the offense is not in sync. There's a lot of I guess turmoil with the offense. As you have so pointed out in our group chat, Sonny.
You almost
just trying to help.
You almost talk about it,
really. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, there's a reason that they decided to move on from Shane Waldron. There's really no other way to say it. The offense wasn't clicking.
Is he a scapegoat though?
For now, yeah.
Okay.
For now, because just like any one of us, if we were a head coach of an NFL team, we're going to do everything we can to save our job. And if that means beheading somebody else, that's just the nature of the business, guys. Let's keep it real. Like any of us would have done the same thing. My ass is on the line. I know it. So I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to make any move I can to save my own job. Here's the problem, though. It's too late for that. There's been too many times where when big games come up, the Bears fall short.
Right.
There's been too many times where games have been mismanaged. There's been too many times where leadership has been questioned, especially this week. It's been even worse. So, and when players come out and say that we need to be coached harder, we need to be held more accountable, that's I'm sorry that I would be embarrassed.
Volumes.
That would be a slap in the face to me, especially my background, the things that I've done in my life, in my profession. If anybody ever questioned my leadership, I would have took that real personal. And for Matt Eberflus to kind of just brush it off like, oh, we're gonna work on executing, blah, blah, blah. Dude, that's why this team is the way it is. There's no true leadership in that building, starting at the head coach going down. I think the McCaskies are more worried about guys that fit into their country club environment than a hard-nosed like Mike Ditka, which is the last time that they truly were considered a threat in the NFL is when they had a head coach that was an a-hole. And then they haven't had it since. Even Lovie Smith, as much as I love Lovie Smith, he wasn't really a feisty, hard-nosed type coach. He wasn't. It's just, it was a different element with Lovie. The guys, I just think there was a lot more talent on the team overall, which is why the Bears were able to succeed when they did with Urlacher and Lance Briggs and those guys. But ever since then, it's been a bunch of softies at head coach, guys that they thought were going to work, guys that thought they thought they were getting the smarter guy in the room, like a Mark Trestman or a Matt Nagy. The thing that the ownership fails to hone in on is, can those guys lead a group of 53 men to win football games? And the answer has been no every time. So until they get a guy in there that is willing to put a foot in somebody's ass, then it's just going to continue to be the same cycle. They had a chance to hire Bruce Arians back in 2000, and when they hired Nagy, they had a chance to get Arians, and that was a big mistake, because I think Arians would have had this team going in the right direction. So
go ahead, Father. I think you're right up on what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Cuervo, I got your answer for you. I got your answer for you. It's going to solve all your problems.
Okay, let's hear it.
Talked to Jerry Jones recently. And he says, I want to trade Mike McCarthy for a good pick. So you can have Mike McCarthy as long as we get your draft pick.
God.
Oh, hell no. Dude, that dude coached Green Bay. I don't want no part of that guy. And he's another type. But you know what?
Well, that means he knows how Green Bay works, right? He knows how you got to play him twice. So there you go.
It's not the same team anymore. I know. Listen, but you know what though? It's funny you say that though, because that is the type of guy that the Bears like to hire. They like to hire those yes sir type guy. Yes, man.
And you don't think that you see a press conference in your future of Mike McCarthy saying it's going to be back in the NFC North again? I'm so excited about being over here and playing them with the Monsters of the Midway and going against my old team of the Packers, and of course the darling team in the NFL, the Lions, twice. I mean, come on, he would dig that.
I want no part of it.
I mean, he had to go back to the barn and sit there for 3 years like he did the first time, but that didn't work out. So
no, Mike McCarthy would be a terrible hire.
Again, we're talking Chicago. Are they good for great hires?
Well, are the Dallas Cowboys good for great hires? Are the Browns good for great hires? Are the Jaguars? We got 4 teams. I mean, we represent 4 of the worst teams in the NFL on the screen right now. It's sad enough as it is, but I'm going to tell you right now, whoever ends up, and all 4 of the teams the Cowboys will never do it, but Brian Flores right now should be look what he's done with Minnesota's defense. Look what he's done since that whole thing went down in Miami. All he has done is he's gone to places and helped their team win, even to that point to the Pittsburgh Steelers when he was there and the offense was horrible, but that defense was there. So I'm telling you right now, I want Brian Flores. Obi should want to have Flores, and Cuervo. I think that's the right place for Brian Flores. What's your take upon a blank? Because it sure in the hell ain't Dallas, because Jerry Jones won't hire him. But that being said, do you like the idea of a Brian Flores for your Chicago Bears?
I would, as long as he learned his lesson from the mistakes he made in Miami. As long as he learned from that.
What are those mistakes?
You know what those mistakes are, son. the way he treated players, the way he talked to players. Because there's a difference between coaching guys hard, right? Yes. Getting in their ass, holding them accountable, and there's a difference between that and degrading guys. Okay, these are grown men. These are professional athletes. These are guys. Some of them been in the league for 8, 9, 10 years. There's a difference between leading and coaching and just being a freaking like a bully to other grown men. And there's no place for that. So as long as he has learned his lesson from the way he treats players, all right, and I'm not saying go roast marshmallows and sing Kumbaya. I'm saying, yeah. What I'm saying though is coach them, teach them, develop. That's what you got to do as a head coach, especially with a team like the Bears who have a lot of young players. This is they're one of the, I think they're like top 3 as far as average age of the roster. The Green Bay's the youngest. I think the Bears maybe like second, third, fourth, something like that. They're a really young team, so they need a coach that is going to be willing to develop guys, lead them, and kind of inspire them to reach their full potential. And
well, there's Ben Johnson for the Lions.
What's that?
There's Ben Johnson from the Lions, who's probably going to be available here now.
I think
I don't know.
He's going to be the most popular pick.
I think Ben Johnson. I see the intelligence there, but he almost reminds me. I don't know how he is as a leader though. Does he get in guys' ass, or does he just benefit from a really talented offense?
But yeah, remember that's Detroit, right? I mean, Detroit has never really had the luxury of having been the odds-on favorite for anything. So you got to figure the coaching that they've had to do out there. I mean, look at their leader is. He's a real ball buster out there.
I think it's more Campbell than it is Ben Johnson, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I really so. But the thing is, one's got to lead, and the other one's got to follow it, and follow up on what the coach wants.
It's all about learning the culture, and the culture is in Detroit right now. Is we win and we play hard, and this is how we're going to go week by week. And if Ben Johnson can have a leader like Dan Campbell and learn off of that, then I think that would be a great hire for any team. But as you said, Cuervo, has he learned that? Does he know how to be a leader? Because it's different. It's different from on each team of being a coordinator to being the man who is overseeing everything.
Right. Yeah. And I like Flores. I like his demeanor. I like his, because he kind of he almost reminds me of a Mike Tomlin, and I can see why he hired why Tomlin hired him and gave him another chance in the league after the mistakes that he had made in Miami. If you remember, that was the first job he got after that whole thing in Miami happened. It was Mike Tomlin that said, "Come here, fella. I'm gonna lead you. I'm gonna guide you in the right way. I'm gonna give you another shot at being a coach in this league." So he did, and now he's doing what he's doing in Minnesota. And I think eventually, whether it's this coming off season or in the next couple of years, I really do think Brian Flores will get another head coaching gig. I wouldn't mind it. I'm all for Brian Flores being the head coach. I just don't know if ownership is all for it. I don't know if it's their suit and tie type guy that they like, their white collar type guy that they want at head coach. They need a blue collar guy. This is Chicago, gentlemen. This isn't freaking some San Diego or some other white collar type city that everybody's all buttoned up all the time. This is Chicago, Illinois, where people are blue collar over there, and Sonny, even though you're from Central Illinois, Sonny, you know what it's like over there.
Absolutely. That's the way that it goes each and every year. So it's one of those things.
So you're saying Kellen Moore?
Absolutely.
Yes. You want Kellen Moore?
100%.
Kellen Moore.
I'm glad that's what you got from all that, Podfather.
Exactly. Hey, I'm here for you.
Hey, right there. Now, That being said, they go up against Green Bay today. So Cuervo, always a tough game, always a barn burner, but they don't have the guy that owns the Chicago Bears anymore, that being the once quarterback, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Now you got a new quarterback in there that's going to start trying to own you as the Chicago Bears. Jordan Love going up against this football team. You were talking about the youth of this team. The difference between a lot of youth that I see on football teams that don't have maturity. And the Green Bay Packers, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what it is about that youth. They've got a lot of maturity on this football team. They're taking direction pretty well. They're playing well. What's your take up on the Bears' chances against a football team that seems to be headed in the right direction with their new quarterback?
Well, so it's no secret. Like I said, as Sonny, made sure to let everybody know all the turmoil that was going on with the Bears. New offensive coordinator going into this week. Let's see if it sparks them. Let's see if it brings a spark to the offense. A lot of times it does. I'm not saying that it's going to be enough to win the game. I'm just saying that we could see a little bit more of an offense that can execute a little bit better. And I don't know if it'll fix the offensive line issues because Chris Morgan is still the offensive line coach. But as far as the other parts of it, receivers being in the place that they need to be, guys lining up in the right position, picking up on blitzes and stuff like that. All that stuff was not happening with Shane Waldron. And there was too much that, according to the players, there was too much that was being swept under the rug or kind of letting things slide. And like I said earlier, for them to say we need to be coached harder, that's a slap in the face. And Shane Waldron should have been out there really getting guys' asses when they weren't executing in OTAs, because this goes all the way back to OTAs. Keenan Allen was saying too much stuff was kind of just, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. That's where you gotta be in those guys' asses and really be coaching them hard and getting them to execute your offense. That was your first. It was your first impression, and that was the first impression that you gave to your offense was, I'm a guy that's going to just let things slide. Hey, if you miss that block, hey, if you false start on a pre-snap penalty, that's okay. You'll figure it out. That's not the answer. You should be. Shane Waldron should have been busting blood vessels in July at OTAs, being so pissed off at those type of mistakes that it would have led to a much better looking offense in October, November. But, again, it goes back to the soft, likable type guys that the Bears like to hire. Oh, he's a nice guy. They like to hire the nice guys in Chicago. And it just doesn't work like that. Look at the Cowboys. Look at the other teams that are hiring the nice guys, and it just never works out. You got to have coaches that are a-holes. That's why Dan Campbell has changed the culture in Detroit. That's why Mike Tomlin, with average talent, is 7-2 right now. That's why Bill Belichick, despite all we want to say about the cheating and all that stuff, they won 6 Super Bowls.
It worked. So,
yeah, that's the type of guy you need in charge, is guys that are a-holes, that are not afraid to hold guys accountable. But that also includes the coaches. See, that's the other thing too I want to bring up real quick, guys. And I know we're kind of talking a little too much about this game. We need to move on, but it's easy to have for people to say, oh, the head coaches got to hold players accountable. They got to hold their coordinators more accountable. As much as you hold players accountable, you got to be even more accountable for those coordinators and your other coaches. So I think that's where the problem lies sometimes too, is too much is the head coach has to be in charge of the players. I don't think that's necessarily the case. It should be more head coach directly in charge of the coordinators. Make sure that they're doing their job, so that way the players are doing their job.
Definitely. So that being said, I'll shoot it over to Obi. What's your take up on today's game, Green Bay and the Chicago Bears, and who do you got in this one?
I picked Green Bay to win this game. When I looked at this game earlier this week, it was like, man, there's as we've talked about a long time here, there's a lot of turmoil going on in Chicago right now. the state of fact of, there's been whispers of benching Caleb Williams and going with this other guy that I've never heard of. My question is, and I wanted to ask Cuervo, and I'll ask him at the end of what I have to say is, Chicago, they're on a 3-game losing streak. They were at 4-2 at one point. And now, and when they won that game, became 4-2. Everybody was talking about, the progression that Caleb Williams has made over the last few weeks. And now all of a sudden, he progresses up, and then all of a sudden he's progressing down. What's happening? What's going on in the background? I think we've talked about it. Talked about coaching. Talk about the coordinators. And I agree with you, Cuervo. It's yes, it starts from the top. But the coordinators and the head coach have to come up each week, have to come up with a game plan, and they have to come up with two other scenarios of, okay, if our game plan doesn't work, we got to try something else. And then also being able to make those halftime adjustments and adjustments during the game. That's what your leaders do on football Sunday. Is how well can you adjust to what's happening? Because you might have a game plan of, okay, this other team is going to come out and say, this is what they're going to do. This is what they tend to do. And then they come out and they do something totally different. Got to make adjustments. And that comes back to the coordinators and the position coaches, everybody being on the same page. Don't see it right now in Chicago. So what do? They use, I'm going to go ahead and say it. They, even though Cuervo didn't like the guy, but they used the offensive coordinator as a scapegoat. So they got rid of him. So now they have a new guy coming in. All right. So if the new guy comes in and this week they perform the same way they've done the last 3 weeks, then whose fault is it really? Who does it come down to? Does it come down to the head coach in the preparation, or does it come down to the players? The coaches aren't out there making false starts. The coaches aren't out there, having doing a pass interference or holding calls. Those aren't the coaches. Yes, that's coaching technique, but the coaches aren't out there actually making the plays. So you got to get everything in sync. And right now, I don't see it in sync in Chicago. And I don't know. Was it the quarterback that owned the Bears, or was it the organization of the Green Bay Packers that owns the Bears right now? I'm going with Green Bay today.
Podfather.
I was waiting to have Cuervo give us a big old, there's no way that my Bears can lose to that piece of shit team, the Green Bay Packers, but we're not getting that from Cuervo. I'm a little disappointed right now. So
he's really been a Bears realist, over the years. So,
I know. I mean, look, I can relate. I'm a Cowboy realist, and I have to look at the bad and say this is all we got. So I get that. Look, this is the worst week for the Bears to have this kind of inter-office turmoil going into the divisional week against the Green Bay Packers team. They got to play. This is the worst week for that, and unfortunately, it happened. It's not going to help matters out. Caleb Williams, look, he's a rookie quarterback. We all know how Sonny thinks about that. We also know that, that he has been thrown to the wolves a lot this year, and he's had some flashes, but they're just flashes. They're not monumental moments of saying this is going to be our guy of the future. But tonight he's going to go up against a guy who has been thrown to the wolves a little later in his career and has come out the other side, and everybody's like saying, you know what, this guy's got something. He's had that time to mature. So that's the difference between this game. I'm going to go Packers on this one. I think playing in Green Bay, which they're playing in Green Bay, right?
Yep.
Nope. Yeah. No, they're at Chicago.
Are they playing at Chicago?
Oh, yeah, they are in Chicago.
Then it still won't matter. So, I'm going to go Green Bay.
Listen, guys, I want to say something. We've all got. We're sitting here and we're complaining about Caleb Williams and him as a rookie quarterback. Rookie. We know how we feel about rookie quarterbacks. Let's go back many years ago, and there's this quarterback who's in the Hall of Fame now. Went 0-16 his very first year, and Absolutely. He was literally the starter. He was at the beginning of the season. Peyton, you're our guy. Put him in there. And he learned his lumps in the first year and a half. And some quarterbacks can do it. There's other quarterbacks who sit behind. Let's talk about the guy that Cuervo hates, Aaron Rodgers. He sat behind Brett Favre for a couple of years, at least 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Jordan Love sat behind Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years. These guys learned how to be an NFL quarterback before they were thrown out there. Caleb Williams is out there. Bryce Young thrown out there. He's on the bench now. There's certain quarterbacks.
Playing now, isn't he?
Quarterback. Yeah, he's playing now.
Yeah.
But every quarterback that is thrown out there to the wolves and say, hey, you're our starter from day one. There's only one quarterback that I can think of recently that succeeded in their rookie year. And that's CJ Stroud.
Yep.
And he's kind of having this sophomore slump right now.
Exactly. And I don't know. Right now, we're looking at Daniels doing what he's doing in Washington. He's playing really well. And by the way, just for, I mean, if you want to throw a positivity spin on what's going on in Chicago, they're 4-5. Now, I'm going to tell you, I didn't expect them to be 4-5 right now. They're 4-5, right? Is that what their record is? They're 4-5 right now. I didn't expect it. In fact, I thought maybe they would be maybe 2. They may maybe only have 2 games. Not only that, they've been in games. Now, you teach young guys in Chicago to win. That you got to teach that in the NFL. A lot of them, where they come from great programs. They know, they win because of the programs and stuff. But now in the NFL, you got to teach them how to win, and that's something that's going to have to be working with Caleb Williams. And I don't think it's a crazy thought to think that he might be able to do it. It just more in the fact that that's just what it is. But the expectations of what Caleb Williams was, based upon all the hype at the beginning of the year, does this surprise anybody where they're at? Now, that's it. I'm on Green Bay. I'm on Green Bay because I think they're one of the teams that will be fighting to get into the NFC conference championship game. Toward the end, I think they're developing and getting better as the week goes on. And I don't know, how the Bears respond today. This will be a good indication. Even if they don't win, Cuervo, in reality, I think it's more about how, if they lose, it's how they lose the game. And I don't know what and who do you have in today's game?
Yeah, so it is kind of about how they lose. I mean, if they embarrass themselves, I told you last week, if they lose to New England, that's Matt Eberflus's warning, and I think he reacted to that loss by firing the OC. And God bless you, sir. And so he reacted to the loss of New England, and rightfully so. A change needed to be made. Okay. So that had to happen. But I want to address a couple things, guys, real quick.
Okay.
Do we strap in, as Bryce would say? Do we strap in?
It could wind up being a strap-in moment.
Okay.
But most of my focus is going to be on the hardest working man in sports.
Here we
go.
go.
No.
Because every chance he's got to remind us of how bad the organization of the Chicago Bears is.
Mm-hmm.
So
he did that for the Cowboys too. So don't go so along with that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while he does it to the Cleveland program too. So
Cleveland's been bad for the last 20 years. I don't have to.
None of us say shit. None of us say shit about the Jaguars. But yeah, here's Sonny just piling on our shit.
Well, I say they suck. So that's.
All right, go ahead, Cuervo. Let's hear it. We're strapped in. We're ready to go.
Yeah, listen.
He's looking something up. I can tell his eyes are looking. He's looking something up that I posted. I can tell.
No. I got enough content from you.
Right now. Come on.
And I stayed quiet. I was like, all right, you know what? You want to pile on? You go right ahead and you pile on. All right. a lot of the videos that Sonny posted kind of seemed like we didn't know what was going on. That he was breaking some news. Listen, Sonny, we all know that the Bears have been a dysfunctional organization for a very long time. We all know that the quarterback has not played to his full potential as the number 1 overall pick. And going back to what Opie said, you pile on Caleb Williams and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, he's a rookie quarterback. But here's the thing, it's crazy because it's like, oh, Jaden Daniels is like the greatest thing since sliced bread. In the last 6 games, Caleb's actually performed right at where Jaden Daniels has. And he has 1 more touchdown in the last 6 games. So for all this, Jaden Daniels is great. And, Jaden Daniels is like the next, he's just put him in the Hall of Fame now.
Okay.
Caleb has actually performed right at the level where Daniels has. The only difference is the wins and losses. And that's what people focus on a lot. So I get it. All right. Yeah. The video about the catastrophe and the mistakes that they make. Okay, cool. I just want to know what your point was, Sonny. The point in posting all that stuff, was it to get me fired up because it worked?
Exactly.
Well, that was not. I was just making sure that everybody was informed because of and the reason why
I mean, we all have phones and TVs.
But it's a lot easier to find it right in the one spot. But so it's but my case is twofold. Okay, number one, the preseason hype over this guy. It bothered me because I kind of knew where it was going to go. But again, I just gave him props. They're 4-5, and that wasn't facetious. That was encouraging in reality because again, I only expected them to have 2 wins because of where they were. So, and also they were in games at the end of the game. So I'm not putting this on your quarterback. Believe it or not, I'm right there with you on the coaching. The coaching is the biggest responsibility of getting this guy ready to play, and not just your quarterback, but also having all your coordinators together to win a game. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, that last play against Washington just put the trajectory of where the Chicago Bears are and what they are right now. That's just a reality of a team that's not in sync. They're not coached well, and their attitudes about what what their play out on the football field is all about, and that's all coaching. They got to get it under control. I'm not after your quarterback. I'm after your coaching. They should have fired Eberflus last week is what they should have done. They had no business losing to New England. I knew it was going to happen. By the way, I was the only one that picked them. You could just see with the writing on the wall where it's at. So that is the reason why. Just keep people informed because I think this is all coaching. And what have we seen over the years? Coaching kills number 1 draft picks. If you don't have a good coaching staff, your quarterback is in a lot of trouble, not just for the first year, but for his whole career because he learns bad tendencies and they keep up and they don't teach them. And I'm worried about your guy at the quarterback position because he should be a guy that should be able to come out there and do it. He should be the guy that, he should be a Caleb Williams is what it should be going on for him. Or the guy in Washington. He should be that guy. But their coaching staff sucks. And you know it. We all know it. But the guy that gets it is most on that. So Lord knows what the Podfather is shooting our way. But anyway, that being said, let's do this.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Look, this is going to be a great day because of the game that's going on. But that being said, it's also one of my favorite guys with the, say whatever you want. He's got the best smile on the internet. It's the one, the only, Rice from Brooklyn. I I thought you were just pulling on your shirt. Good morning, Bryce from Brooklyn. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. No. This right here is not just for today. We know today is the day, Ravens week, but this is also for Thursday.
Yeah.
It's for the.
Two
This is
games
the
in
week. This is the week
days.
I've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah. The
I'm
turnaround
just
that's happening.
hoping
They're on
that the
Thursday night football.
here's what I want to see. I'm going to jump ahead.
Okay. He's ready.
Yes, I've been waiting for Bryce to get on. Dude, I really want to see. This is going to tell you how much I hate one team. You know how much I do not like Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I really want to see you guys beat up on the Ravens today. But I want to see you guys get beat up as well. So that Thursday night turnaround, that Cleveland literally maybe has a slight bit chance of winning that effing game.
And that right there is the influence of the Podfather. There goes the chair shot right there. Get me ready, like, yeah, there you go. Just so you can get beat
I've
up.
done nothing here. Thank you very much.
No, not at
But
all.
yeah, I saw this game early this week, and man, I couldn't push the button for Pittsburgh fast enough. But now I'm like, really? Now my brain is like, okay, wait a minute here. This is the Ravens. This is the Steelers. Yes, the Steelers are playing at home, but I'm wishy-washy with this game.
Okay.
Do I go with my instincts? Which my instincts were, let's push that Pittsburgh button because they're playing at home, and I really want it. I really want it badly. Not that I would like the Steelers, but I really want it because I hate the Ravens.
It's a true Browns fan.
I think everybody here, if they were in my chair right now, and how Cleveland became, or how the Ravens became.
You mean the chair that keeps dissolving behind you?
What?
The chair that keeps dissolving behind you?
Yeah. It's. I mean, just. I really, really want the Steelers just to obliterate the Ravens today.
Okay.
I had to get that out. Sorry.
I know. I can tell. You've been holding on to that, but just enough for us to get beat up for the Browns to pull you up.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And there's a certain number 90 that I don't want to wish anybody getting hurt, but I really not want him to play Thursday night.
Oh Lord, here we go. Lariat City right there.
Just hurt for that game. I understand.
I'll be sitting there wishing for COVID on somebody right now.
Yeah,
you won't get hurt. You'll just be sick and can't show up this game.
Get the flu or something.
Wishing for injuries. No, listen. I was glad to come in today. I couldn't wait because it's not just about this against the Ravens or this against the Steel or against the Brownies. I got a beef with this show. Not so much Cuervo and the Podfather. I got a beef with Sonny Clark and Obi about
Curry. Well,
here we go.
I got a beef because last week I hope you listened to that show, Obi, because I couldn't hide my disgust sometimes about how when it comes to your guys, you and Cuervo get the blinders on sometimes, even though you're very reasonable. But I got a beef today with you and Sonny Clark about Kyler Murray, so I'm ready to get into it.
Oh, here we go. I not only that, someone asked me about.
I'm guilty of Kyler Murray stuff too.
Bill was on me on Friday night about Kyler Murray and everything. So he was having his way with it.
It was funny that last night when I was at the bar watching the ASU game, my nephew brought this up as well. He goes, Uncle Jim, I just want to let you know that I've been a Kyler Murray fan since day one, and all you do is complain about him. But look what he's doing. And it's like, yeah.
That's a smart kid. There we go. You better listen to that wisdom. You and Sonny Clark better open your ears and start listening.
I picked the Arizona Cardinals to win. But all right. So Kyler Murray. Now, where were we?
Wherever you want to go.
We were on the Bears Green Bay. And since you're here, give us your take up on Bears Green Bay before we hit the next one.
This is another reason. I thank you for bringing that up. I listened to a little bit before I got on. Cuervo, I feel kind of bad because everything we said last week literally came true. And I didn't even know what to say. I couldn't believe what I watched last week. I just couldn't believe how bad they were. To Sonny's point, I know the Bears don't fire a coach in season. I would have made the change. So this is kind of my issue. The Bears, to me, have the same issue as I see the Bengals sometimes having, is that I think sometimes some of these organizations, and I always advocate for the players, but sometimes you need to start cutting some of these guys. I'm talking immediately, like Jimmy Johnson style. Like, I don't care if they were a high draft pick. I don't care sometimes if you've invested some money in them. Sometimes it's like, no, you're not performing. And in the NFL, when you perform like this, you got to go. You got to go play somewhere else. And I think sometimes doing that, when you let some of these guys go that aren't performing, it can reset the locker room to let people know you are not just here because, you get to play in the NFL, you get to play for a great Chicago Bears storied franchise, or you're on the Bengals or what have you. If you do not perform, we will get someone else in here that will perform. And I kind of think the Bears are in that place where real leadership, I kind of would like to see that. Like, whether it's the coach or some of these players, there need to be some announcements that these couple guys have been cut. They've been let go because they are not performing. There needs to be a reset. And I think there needs to be a reset a little bit with the Bengals too sometimes. There's a similarity there that's weird to me, where sometimes some of those guys just needed to be cut over the years. And you got to sit in the locker room that we are going to move in a different direction. And so I got the Packers winning this. Could the Bears put up more of a fight? Sure, but I don't believe it matters. There needs to be a reset with the coaching staff and some of the players. And look, Ryan Pauls, I'm actually rooting for him, but I'd give him another year. But if we come out and see the same thing, he might get reset. You drafted this guy. You got to be all in on his success. So they're going to bring in build the organization to build around him and go for it. Because if you're not going to do that, then guys got to go. That's my thought on it.
Fully agree. Is coaching and everything. I just hope it doesn't destroy the kid's career, because bad coaching in the rookie year that could be.
Goes, real quick, Sonny. This also goes to why I said last week. Sometimes, even though the fine co-host of this show is extremely reasonable and Obi reasonable fans, but sometimes they disgust me because when they get their guys, they're going to go all out for their guys. And I said, Justin Fields on that team, well, he misses receivers. He needs to go through his reads and progressions better. We saw the good and some of the bad in Pittsburgh. I believe that guy, if he would have had a chance to come to the organization and sit and learn and kind of be built up in a way, he'd be in a much better place even than what he is now. And the Bears had a big part, and they're showing it with why he ended up where he is now.
But Bryce, what I'm going to follow up on what you just said. Sit and learn. You can sit and learn from good quarterbacks in front of you. But when Justin Fields came in, who was in front of him that he could learn something positive?
And the same thing with Williams. Look who's in front of Williams, which is Justin Fields. What could Williams learn from a Justin Fields if he was still on the Bears?
But this is the problem. But this is where I'm going back to the organization. When you make the decision to go in on a first-round quarterback, look, if it's a 25th, if the quarterback's picked 25th in today's NFL, if you miss on him, it's bad, but it doesn't wreck your franchise. But even now, you can't miss on number 13 at quarterback. That's still too high. You have to, if you're going to draft Justin Fields, then you've made a commitment to build your organization around how this guy plays and commit to what he's going to do, which means you bring in different veteran quarterbacks. You got to have a plan for him. You have to build the organization and the coaching staff around it. That's part of being a good front office nowadays. And the Bears do not consistently do that. It's not just about the fact that they've drafted people that are talented. They have some talent. They have pieces. But the fit, like we've talked about their identity, it's like from the top down, there's not enough. consistency in terms of the foundation of how they want to play football. We don't see it. That's what you got to do. You got to bring in the first quarterback, the second quarterback with a free agency, and your high draft pick has to sit. It's like even if the first guy gets hurt, we got the second guy in who's the backup, maybe he's a veteran, because our organization is built for this guy to be the long-term answer and for him to sit.
Yep.
And I just want to follow up, Cuervo. I know that you we've met, we've talked. I know that you're not feeling like this, but I just want to throw it out there. It's not just the Bears organization. It's every organization in the NFL has to be built that way.
Yes.
Look at my team. We invested $240 million in a piece of crap that we got. And now we are going to suffer for years because we invested that money and we put it to that guy who had a lot of off the field issues and everything. And it set the organization back.
You did.
And I'm going to shift my gears towards, I just want to do this since you came on, Jacksonville. Jacksonville has put their eggs in the basket for Trevor Lawrence. What has Trevor Lawrence done for that organization? What has the coaching staff done for that organization so far right now? Trevor Lawrence is his fourth year? He's year in and year out, he's picked to be, top 5, 10 quarterback of the season or for the year. And right there, that guy down the bottom right set this organization back.
Yeah, this is thanks to the Podfather, so I had to make sure, I gave him credit, so I arted it up for him.
Unfortunately,
but
Urban Meyer set that organization back.
I agree 100% with Obi.
I love Urban Meyer as a college coach.
Mm-hmm. Terrible.
No, terrible.
Just crazy knucklehead.
So damaging.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, guys. Hey, Podfather, I like that meme because it drives me nuts when people pronounce it Jaguar. It's not Jaguar.
That guy right there does. That guy right there does.
Jaguars.
I probably get that wrong.
They're not wired very well, so maybe it should be Jaguar.
I agree with you. Like I'm not like Sonny Clark, Cuervo. I just don't come on here and take
off for that.
Shots at the Bears every time I get a chance, just because I want to.
I'm starting to go in on Sonny about that. I'm slowly.
Yeah,
because
I take pop shots at all the teams. I mean, my team definitely. My team sucks.
This is every Sunday, every show, every chance you get, and Bryce knows what I'm talking about. It's chair shot after chair shot. Let me tell you something. The day that the Bears get it figured out, I'm pointing at you, Sonny Clark.
Yeah.
The day that they get it figured out, I don't want to hear you claim, well, I lived in Illinois. I'm a Bears fan too. No, I don't want to hear it. No, you don't get to claim that. You don't get to say that. You don't get to represent that. You stick with your Jaguars.
Yeah,
Bro, it's not like the Bears. When the Jaguars have been awful.
Man. Hey, if anything, look. Hey, I'm saying this real quick. That's why I'm so glad Bryce and our little group here in our little group chat. You never really mentioned anything bad about Dallas. Why? Because Dallas beat the Steelers this year. So I have that to go on right now. I have nothing else.
Larry, boy, I tell you what, you were the MVP of that promotion down there, boy. Yeah, oh my God, the ultimate heel, ultimate heel. I can't get the image.
No one's done it better.
I can't get the image of coming on this show after we lost to Dallas and you eating that stupid chips or popcorn that you had with that bread. I can't get it out of my head. God.
Still got it.
There you go.
Still got it.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Not even a real chip, a great value chip. All right, cool.
but no, I don't come on here and just like do what Sonny doesn't get on the Bears. But listen, last week that was inexcusable. To lose like that, to lose at all, but to lose like that, I didn't see that coming.
I did.
Like, wow, that just was.
You want to know why I seen that? Is because that coaching, well,
right.
yeah. that coaching staff is the problem. Listen, I'm not all over the Bears as the players.
You're not really breaking news there, son.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But but to start, I mean, first of all, it starts unfortunately with one bad play in Washington. Then you just see how the organization is running.
Well,
and this is step one. They get the scapegoat. Get rid of the offensive coordinator. I'm with Bryce. They should have dumped this guy at the end of the game. They shouldn't even let him back in his office.
No,
absolutely.
You know when they should have fired Matt Eberflus at the end of last season.
Well, that's true too.
Every Bears fan called for it. You're about to draft a new quarterback. Get it in sync with the new head coach. Instead, no, I really like Matt. He's a really nice guy. Everybody loves him at the country club. Let's keep him another year. My God, it's the same repeated nonsense over and over, dude. Like it's been very documented about letting drafting a quarterback, keeping the coach for a year, then you fire him and you do it all over again. It's the same thing over and over and over. And Bryce is right. Coaching, dude. That there was no excuse for them losing that game last week, but it all comes back to Eberflus, them not getting back on track after losing that game in Washington. You got to let that go. See, that's the problem. After that happened, they couldn't stop talking about it. Inside the building, on the talk shows. It just kept getting talked about and talked about and talked about. So most of it I blame on the organization. The media kind of, kept throwing fuel on the fire too. Eberflus, as a leader, which he's not, should have came out and said, you know what? Washington is done. We're on to Green Bay. Arizona. We're on to Arizona. Bill Belichick. Do the Bill Belichick.
Which is a winnable game.
And every time it gets brought up, you don't even answer a question about it. You just say, we're on to Arizona. That's all you had to do. You got to squash that conversation. Give it like a day. People want to talk about it. Fine. Like that was like the craziest way to lose a football game, right? But come Tuesday, we're on to Arizona. And that's what should have been the answer to every question about that Hail Mary play and how they played and why did you hand the ball off to the backup center when you're down 5 points? We're on to Arizona, guys. Like what happened?
That's what Belichick did. That's what Belichick did. Whenever he was criticized by the media, he just moved right on and said, I'm not talking about that next week. And he did that after the game. He didn't even give it a day to percolate in the media to get up there. He put a stop to it immediately and done. But that's the difference between a Hall of Fame coach and
But you know what? If my memory serves me right, the New England Patriots never lost a game like that under Bill Belichick's charge. No. They never lost a game like that.
Yeah, I mean they've been beaten bad, but not to a team like that. Like not in those circumstances. Yeah.
So
not in those circumstances.
The other thing, I'll say, I just one question to Cuervo: do the Bears have it so much of their ownership to where they won't give any kind of power to Bill Belichick to come in there and be their coach / general manager?
There's no way.
I think there's an ego issue there a little bit, which is why Jim Harbaugh never even had a chance at getting that job. As much as I would have been in heaven if they hired Jim Harbaugh to be the head coach of that team, there was just too much that would have been relinquished as far as responsibility to Jim Harbaugh. But again, it goes back to ownership. It goes back to the top of the organization. They don't like those kind of guys. They don't like guys that actually are a-holes, as I mentioned earlier, that a-hole type coach that will actually, change the culture of that team. They'd rather hire the nice country club, white collar type coach.
Which is funny because Harbaugh has Chicago ties.
Yeah,
that's what I mean, Obi. Like that's what I would love to see. I'd love to see guys that have a history with this team. For example, somebody like an Olin Kreutz would be an amazing offensive line coach for the Chicago Bears. You know how awesome that would be to see Olin Kreutz in that building every day coaching up that offensive line, getting them in the right place. But no, then it's never going to happen. So they just I don't know what it is about them wanting to have a good structure with the they like to hire nice guys that they like. Oh, I like him. He's nice. That's the type of guys that they like to hire.
Well, it also comes with how much they're going to pay people too. I mean, no offense against the Chicago Bears, they're one of the cheapest organizations in the NFL. They don't spend money on the quality that they need in order to win Super Bowls, and that's where it comes. Also, another problem.
I think that's an old narrative, Sonny. I don't think it's, I don't think it's necessarily like that anymore. I mean, look at the extension they just gave DJ Moore. He's going to get paid $27.5 million a year. When have you ever heard of the Chicago Bears paying a wide receiver that much money? This is the first time that it's
absolutely
happened.
But they need to do it at more positions as well. They got the rookie wrapped up before nothing, so that's good for them. They need to.
Well, that's not the Bears' fault. That's just the way the NFL.
No, I'm just saying they need to go out and get those other key components for that football team to be as good as they're going to be, if they're going to be as good as they're going to be. So that's where the Bears are, as far as there's a lot of things brewing in the Chicago Bears front office and locker room that has got to be changed. It's culture, and that's something that's I don't know if Poles is going to be able to do it or not. It seemed like he might be able to do it, but
and let me just say one thing that I think is a dirty little secret within the organization. I don't think Ryan Poles necessarily hired Matt Eberflus. I think he was already set in place before Poles got the job in Chicago. Right. That's what I believe. I think that's what a lot of Bears fans believe. That's what a lot of the media in Chicago believes, that Poles didn't even hire Eberflus himself, even though they have the same agent, former Bear Trace Armstrong. I don't think that was a guy that Ryan Poles actually picked to be the head coach. Now, that being said, when, not if, but when Eberflus gets fired after this season, then we know for a fact, okay, this is going to be a Ryan Poles hire. And I'm going to be really intrigued to see who it's going to be. And that's why all these people are saying Poles needs to go because he hasn't addressed the offensive line. That's true. He hasn't done enough to address the offensive line. He shopped at the dollar store as opposed to getting good quality guys in free agency. But I don't think Ryan Poles is going anywhere for a little while, because I think he has to be given the opportunity to hire a coach that he wants and that he feels is going to get this organization to another level with the talent that they have on both sides of the ball. And it's going to be Bryce, you may not have heard it, but we mentioned Brian Flores earlier. I think if Brian Flores, as long as Brian Flores learned his lesson from the mistakes he made in Miami, I'd be all for Flores being the head coach this year.
That's interesting. Yeah,
I would love that hire.
That's a Sonny hire, by the way.
But I don't know if that's going to happen though, because he's not that. He's got that alpha presence that the Bears apparently don't like. They like the nice guys in Chicago. So, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens as we get all set. Obi, how long do we got you for?
I got to get going, but I just posted, by the way, Browns win today. Browns win today. And Bryce, I'm going to listen, but please help me convince that I need to change the pick of the Baltimore Steelers game, because right now I have Baltimore winning. Please convince me the other way.
I will listen. We'll see what we got, but after this, you know what's going to happen on Thursday, Obi. You just get yourself ready. All the niceties are out the window this week.
Yes,
I can't wait.
I can't wait. I just, like I said, I hope both teams beat up each other, and just enough to where we could come out and have a slim to none chance of winning that game on Thursday.
All right. So Obi, always good to see you, and we'll talk to you next week as we lose Obi. But now it is that time to get to the gentleman in the far left-hand corner to talk about this one that's coming up. It's Bryce's 3 keys of beating the Baltimore Ratbirds, as we get set. And I've been waiting for this one because the only reason why I just knew his nickname for that team, so it was easy to make the graphic. So that being said, on to this one. This one, an important game for both teams, man. If there is a game this week where both teams need the win, I think this is about the one. And I'll say it this way. Baltimore gets the win to keep establishing their dominance within for not only their own division, but in the AFC. But the Steelers, they have to take that step forward with their Russell Wilson at the quarterback position and get a quality game against a quality football team. And again, I'll go back to what I said earlier about the Bear game. It's not about whether or not they win it or lose. It's how they lose it, and that's going to be important as well. So taking a look at this one, Bryce from Brooklyn, your Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Baltimore Ratbirds. So we need not it's not just one, and it's not just two, but we need the 3 keys for beating the Baltimore Ratbirds here today.
Baltimore Ratbirds. First of all, they are not the Baltimore Ratbirds. They are the Baltimoreanic Ratbirds. That's what they are. All right, Sonny, that is a very kind Chiron bumper intro to the idea of the 3 keys. Sadly, though, I'm going to disappoint the fans because I have not really thought about what the 3 keys are yet.
Oh, you did hurt me.
And I haven't posted it yet on Facebook. But we'll get generally kind of suss it out a little bit. Okay, so Ravens week. Throw the records out the window. They Absolutely. Don't matter. Throw the records out the window this week for Thursday too. Doesn't matter that the Browns are 2-7 and maybe 3-2 and 8 or what have you. We now enter the AFC North. It's AFC North ball. It is hard knocks. We had the cameras out. It's about to get real hot in the kitchen, as Mike Tomlin says. First and foremost, let's get to the Ratbirds. Let me tell you something. The Ratbirds have the second best quarterback in the NFL. The first is Mahomes. The second is Lamar Jackson. I'm taking Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow. I think Lamar Jackson has ascended with there is nothing on the football field, guys, that you can't do. You look at the way he's thrown. Podfather, we know how Sonny Clark likes to go crazy about running quarterbacks. Don't let that apply to Lamar Jackson, even if he has some bad games or not. The skill set right now, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this. Even with Mike Vick was dynamic and could throw the ball, but he couldn't throw the ball like this. I mean, this guy makes every throw. The arm strength is ridiculous. Flick of the wrist, it's going 50 yards. The running is some of the most unique quarterback running we've ever seen. As a leader, as a teammate, you never hear anyone say, you never heard one bad thing about this guy. Like, this is the second best quarterback to me in the NFL. I would take him as an individual talent over all these other guys. I just think he is extremely dynamic. That aided now with, before it used to be, we're gonna mesh charge the read option, the read option, the freeze option, because you try to get you freeze with the dive. We're gonna mesh charge. We're gonna hold Lamar. If the running back gets some yards, we'll try to contain that. But that's the best way. Can't do that with Derrick Henry, because if he keeps giving the ball to Derrick Henry, playing 10 in the box versus you're down a man because you're going at the quarterback, Derrick Henry's going to kill you. You couple that with the receivers they have. This is one of the most dynamic offenses we've seen in a while with Andrews. Defensively, you're good against the run. Some injuries in the front seven. The secondary gives up a lot of pass yards. This is not the same Ravens defense. They've been getting cooked. They look a little slow too. So this matchup, when you take the records out of it, this matchup on paper, I still is going to be very close. That being said, that's the name of this show. Top to bottom this year, I think the Steelers, top to bottom, have a better roster than the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens roster is top heavy. I think when you start getting down, Pittsburgh overall is the more, complete team. The special teams are better. I think the kicker we have has finally ascended past Tucker, who has shown a little bit of slippage, which is amazing to say. I think Waitman has been good punting the ball. Our coverage units have been good. We're creating splash with special teams. I think we have the better coach overall, even though they have the better quarterback. And Russell Wilson added to this offense, playing very competent with a very competent offensive coordinator in Arthur Smith. I think while it'll be a close game, I think at home, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going all in, get it done and beat the Baltimore Ratbirds today. And then they go throw records out the window and beat Obi's Cleveland Browns to go 9-2. They'll be 9-2 by Friday. I'm laying it down. I'm sticking with it. I think Pittsburgh goes all in to stop Derrick Henry. I wouldn't be surprised if Lamar finally has a pretty good game against Pittsburgh, because I think the focus needs to be stop Derrick Henry. Can you rely on your corners and your pass offense to hold it just enough to get some 3 and outs a couple times, and your offense is going to have to be a little more dynamic, which it's prepared to be, to get over the hump today and play complementary football. I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning, and then I got them going to harass Jameis Winston, different type of quarterback, more of a statue. I think the pressure can get to him, and we go beat the Cleveland Clowns in the division 2-0, 9-2.
The Cleveland
That's what
Clowns. All right. And Podfather, what's your take up on what you're seeing in this one? I'm still confused. I mean, I get what Bryce is saying, but he also has a little bit of a homer kind of attitude going toward this game. So, which is fine. I mean, I get it. It's a difference between a Jaguar homer and a Steeler homer. At least the Steelers are a good football team. Being a Jaguar homer thinking they're going to beat the Detroit Lions today, I would need to go get drug tested. So that having been said, with a little bit of homerage in there, a little bit of homerage in there, what's your take up as a outside guy looking into this one? I'm going to say it. The Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the AFC right now. So that's what I'm going to say. Podfather, what's your take up on today's game as the AFC North battle? It's great.
Can I talk now?
Sure. Why not?
You gonna shut up now and let me talk?
No, maybe it depends. I got coffee, so you can go.
Okay. Okay. Then shut up. So on
So I got a question. No, I'm just kidding. Trey, go ahead.
Okay. I don't mind you, Cuervo. This is that guy over there I got the problem with.
I'm kidding.
Look, here's the thing. Before Bryce started talking, I already had the Steelers picked to win.
Ooh.
Then he convinced me that the Ravens had the better team. But then you finished out saying how the Steelers are going to win and sold back to the Steelers. I'm bouncing back and forth in this game. I don't know. Steelers having home field advantage it might actually help. Look, unlike a lot of other quarterbacks who come in to because their backup was their starter, Russell Wilson's had almost a full preseason right now. And he's looked good in preseason. And it's in his preseason. Now the games matter. And it's the game to matter against the Ravens. Okay? Being at home will help. But, man, to measure him up against Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, man, it's going to come down to a field goal. Because one thing about the games, a lot of the games that we've all picked that we've been wrong on has all come down to like 3 points or whatnot. Mm-hmm. So that's what this game is for me. I'm going to go Pittsburgh only because of the home field advantage and because knowing that the Baltimore Ravens beat the Cowboys and the Steelers didn't. So I'm hoping that, the Steelers can right the wrong and beat the Ravens. But Derrick Henry he's the best player in the league right now as far as the guy the guy that was available for everybody to go get, including this godforsaken team. He was available for everybody to get, and only one team picked him up. I'm saying I think the Steelers will edge out the Ravens this week. Because one thing the Ravens, they are prone to mistakes. They are prone to those little bitty slip-ups. And being in Pittsburgh, that home crowd, them going crazy, they might get to them. So I'm going to go Steelers.
Cuervo.
So the Baltimore Ravens, last Thursday they get the win against Cincinnati. So my thing is that they had a mini bye week. All right. So here's the thing about the Ravens. They've had a little more time to rest. The Ravens have Derrick Henry at running back. They have Lamar Jackson, who I'm going to use Bryce's words here. He's the second best quarterback in the league. I'm still more of a Burrow guy, but it doesn't mean I don't like Lamar. I just, Burrow is more of a he has proven a little bit more than Lamar as far as postseason. Right? He's already gotten farther than Lamar has in the postseason. So that's a lot of weight for my opinion. The Ravens, they just acquired, who was it? Wasn't it Deontay Johnson that they got? Mm-hmm. Didn't they get Deontay Johnson? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now Lamar's got another weapon to get to. So all things on the offense for the Ravens are really starting to, they're starting to cook, as the young folks say. They're starting to cook on offense. That all being said, though, Bryce, I'm going with your Steelers. The reason I'm going to go with your Pittsburgh Steelers is because the one thing that the Ravens don't do well, and I never thought we'd see the day, but their secondary is really weak. They can't stop anybody in the air. So Russ and Arthur Smith, I really think that they've got something, planned for this game, and I think that he's gonna have a day. I think he's really gonna have a good day. I think Pickens is going to get involved a lot. I think you're going to see a lot of Mute is playing, right? He's all healthy, ready to go.
Absolutely.
Yes. We're going to hear a lot of Mute today.
That's right.
Down there in catch-up field. So, yeah, Bryce, I like your Steelers. But I tell you what, it's never blowouts. It's never one dominates over the other. Very rarely that happens. And that's what makes rivalry week so great. It is these close division games that come down to the last minute. So make sure you got your red zone on, guys, because it's going to be a good one. But
absolutely,
I like the Steelers by a field goal. They're going to win by a field goal. So
I seem to think, okay, right now, week 11. The best quarterback in the NFL right now is Lamar Jackson. We can look at all the accolades of Patrick Mahomes, and you would be right if you wanted to have him number one. But right now, who's playing better football is Lamar Jackson. There's no, and I don't think there's even a question in that. Now, that also having been said, this game is a little bit different. He's going up against a team that's a pretty damn good football team. It's not the Kansas City Chiefs. His goal is to get over the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? That's his goal, because guess what? That's what it's going to be in the AFC Championship game, maybe. So how he plays today is a big, indicator on how that will end up happening. I think they lose this game today. It throws the curveball in on who's the better team. Is it the Chiefs? Is it the Baltimore Ravens? And then you got to throw in, is it the Steelers? And I don't think he wants to be there. And this is a guy, I've said it before, I said it again, the best running quarterback in the NFL. But guess what? He has thrown the curveball to everybody. He's throwing the ball more from the pocket, which is what I've been begging this guy to do. By the way, guess what? He's pretty damn good at it. So I'm sitting here going, I wish they would have did this years ago and put this guy in the pocket and let him do what he does. Now, the pressure sometimes gets to him. He throws some horrible balls sometimes. So I've seen it. But when those happen, it's not in crunch time, because when crunch time's coming, he usually picks it up really well, finds his receivers, gets him the ball, or does what he needs to do to go. This might be the most important game this year for the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. If they were going to play the Bills, I'd say that's another one. I don't know what the schedule is, but this game, the Bills and the Chiefs, those are the games that he has to show up and be the superstar that he supposedly is. And I think he takes that step today. Yes, it's in Heinz Field, but I'm going to tell you right now, I love the home field advantage for it, but I don't know what it is about this guy. He knows how to block that out. I just and I said that I think that the Ravens are the best team in the NFL. I say he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. He should be able to get the job done today. That's why I'm up on the Baltimore Ravens. They're looking really good. Now, not to take away, but there's one thing that they have got to do. You got to somehow maintain TJ. If you don't, that might be a problem, or have plays designed to get away from that guy, because that guy, not upon the fact that he's a great rusher, he's a speed rusher sometimes. This guy comes up with speed that I never expected to see from him sometimes. So they better be ready for TJ Watt to be coming at him foaming at the mouth. But I'm gonna say they take care of him. I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens in this one. So
hit me in the back of the head with the chair right there.
No, it was no disrespect. I just think that the better team right now.
No disrespect as I hit you with the chair.
No, but I will say
It's all
this:
business. Don't worry about it.
Started the season off with Russell Wilson, this would be probably a closer debate. I really do. I think the fact that Russell Wilson didn't get the opportunity to play in the early portions of the season might come into play as well, knowing the tendencies and things of that sort. I just and how he's got to move. Hey, Russell Wilson's going to have to move his legs today. I'm telling you, I don't know why. He's going to have to use his legs to make plays on the throw, as well as Lamar Jackson. So we're going to see kind of the same kind of game going on. I do agree with you. The defense in the middle is lacking. They do need to cover that, but I think Jackson will go. Go ahead there, Podfather.
You just say he has to make passes on the throw.
Well, all right, on the run, give me a break. Man, this is worse.
I mean, that's kind of how the passes happen. You kind of throw or you
Suplex City, man.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, you can't.
Suplex City. Listen, you know what? The Steelers have done very well against Lamar. He's 1-3 against them. And last year in Pittsburgh, the Ravens had a lot of drops. I think, even though it's hard to say, they more or less lost that game. The Steelers won that game, but the Steelers got it done. They finished. But the reason why Pittsburgh has been able to confuse and frustrate Lamar, it's actually not that hard to me. It's because we have TJ Watt. There aren't too many players that can match Lamar Jackson, but we got the best defensive player in the world.
I agree.
You have that guy. He's going to be able, if your offense can give you something, he's going to be able to help keep a game close, where you can't run away with it. And we've got, to me, the closest thing to Ed Reed that the NFL has seen. I said this before, it's Minkah Fitzpatrick. Because even when he's not getting turnovers, which he hasn't gotten the turnovers that I think correlate with his contract. But the reason why is because teams don't throw down the middle of the field.
Absolutely.
They don't do it. They're not. Now, that being said, let's see if Lamar decides to do that. Because it's one thing for your average quarterback to say, I ain't going near Minkah. It's another thing for Lamar Jackson to say, I'm that dude, and I'll throw down there because I can make the throw. So that might give Minkah more opportunities. When you have those two guys, your defense has a chance to keep it close. And offensively, we got a quarterback that this ain't Kenny Pickett. This ain't guys from last year. Russell Wilson is an extremely competent quarterback with an elite deep ball who can make the throws. Can Pittsburgh be more efficient over the middle of the field today? There's a ceiling on the offense if all they're going to do is throw outside the numbers. But if they get a little bit better over the middle and target it and have concepts to get guys over there, I'd like to see more dagger concepts, maybe some divide concepts. Like I'd like to see them kind of get things going over the middle a little bit. I'm telling you, this offense can really go, and it's already, I think, 13th in the league. So I think overall Pittsburgh has the better team, but the Ravens have better top-end players, more of them, because you have Derrick Henry and you have Lamar Jackson. I mean, those two guys are on point. But I think Pittsburgh has the better overall team. Pittsburgh's done at home.
Telling me there's a chance.
See this. So this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Even though the Steelers, outside of T.J. Watt, a lot of their roster, I'm just going to say what it is. It's good players, it's average players, but because of the coaching and the structure and the leadership that they have in that organization, that's what elevates them to another level, and that's why if you were to switch head coaching staffs with, say, my Chicago Bears, this Steelers team would be 3-6 right now, or they'd be 4-5 like the actual Bears are, just because of the lack of leadership. But because they have a guy in Mike Tomlin and they have a structured organization, that's what takes that to another level.
I agree,
and that I give all the credit in the world to Tomlin for that.
Now you still gonna go against? Oh, go ahead, Podfather. I'm sorry.
If you guys remember when a few weeks ago when the Steelers decided to make the starting quarterback change, and how the gentleman over here to the other side went ape shit crazy about how you don't replace the guy who was whatever,
Go ape shit.
and then the guy has done nothing but win.
And I said I would.
So,
boy, man, this is the ultimate heel, boy. This guy was the number one draw on that card. Heel turns like crazy.
So we got 3 Steelers, 1 Baltimore Raven. Go ahead, Gary, Podfather.
No, I'm just saying. Look, I mean, look. Do you think right now the new backup to the Steelers quarterback is sitting there looking at the current starter, going, "So that's how you do it." Yeah, okay. So that's how you take a team and lead them down the field and actually show leadership. Wow, I didn't know you had to do all that kind of work, because I didn't have that in Chicago, and Amsterdam didn't have one when I came here because you weren't here. Yeah. So now that he's seeing that, this is a good thing for Pittsburgh. And honestly, it's a good thing for Tomlin, because Tomlin, let's face it, a lot of people, maybe even Bryce included, probably thought Tomlin had wear out his welcome a long time ago.
Let's talk of that.
But, the thing is that he has been able to take a team, turn it around, more so than any other coach out there right now, because a lot of coaches don't get that opportunity to do that. Because once you're 4-5, you're pretty much looking to being cut and fired and everything else. I mean, look at Dallas. I mean, Mike McCarthy, for as bad as Sonny thinks he is, the guy was 12-5 for how long, or 12-4 for how long, until, this year. So, because this year's is what it is, and Jerry's going to sit there and probably pick the next best thing that's out there, which I can't imagine what that would be for him. Probably kill him more with our luck. But, so sad that might be actually the case.
Especially if they win the Super Bowl. Really.
Yeah, which they could get.
Like Kellen Moore, welcome home, okay?
We always loved you.
If that happens, the Podfather's head will explode. Like, I
know mine would.
Look, all we have is Jason Garrett Volume 2. Okay, that's all we got.
Exactly.
So, good luck with all that. But no, look, I'm digging what the Steelers are doing. That's why when I saw the pick originally, I picked them, because they're at home. They're having such a great run right now, and the Ravens, they're hit and miss a lot of times. I mean, let's face it, they're not winning consecutive games right now. So, I think the momentum, once again, it's a big word here, momentum. It's a big thing that's going to happen for the Steelers. It's working right now. Hopefully it holds still. But then again, it's the NFL. We're always a field goal away from 3 seconds and a field goal away. It only takes a team a minute to drive down the field in the last minute of the game. So it's so hard to say.
Especially in a game like this one. I mean, that's AFC.
And that's a 12 o'clock game too, or it'd be 1 o'clock in Bryce's area. But I mean, it's a noon game. Yeah. So I'm surprised they don't flex it out to 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think probably CBS protected the game and was like, no, we're keeping it. We're keeping it at the 1. One thing I do want to respond to Cuervo about this game, which is, you're right. I agree with you about Tomlin giving the players a chance to grow and be a little bit better than maybe they are. But I say top to bottom because you look at the specialists. Waitman, man, he's playing good. That kid can really punt the ball. Chris Boswell, has been. We're seeing slippage from Tucker. He's starting to miss a little bit. Boswell, 50 yards more, best in the history of the NFL, still going strong. George Pickens, that's a beast right there, receiver. Cam Hayward, still a beast on the defensive line. Pat Queen is now a Steeler, starting to bring it together.
Yeah, he's coming up.
Last week he was all over the field. Joey Porter Jr., first round pick, compliment of Cuervo's Bears, ascending, playing really good football. Deshaun Elliott, a former Raven, really good year, strong safety. Like Pittsburgh in the margin, and guys, is a lot better than people realize. There's a reason why they're 7-2. The coaching has been good, but also they've upgraded these players. They've upgraded on the offensive line, and now got the rookies are playing a little better than you thought. Najee is still here. Sonny's guy. Jalen Warren has a compliment. He's been hurt, but he's coming along. The Steelers have a sneaky good roster. That's only, I think, going to get better.
A lot of directions they could go into as well, especially since they will and have utilized Najee Harris. It's almost like they were listening to me, man. I'm telling you right now. They're just, you got to get that guy involved with the game. It changes the whole dynamic of the offense. It really does. And when you don't have when you don't have a good running game, we see what happens in the NFL. Getting them the opportunity to be the guy and be that guy, it just opens up so many things. Now, is Najee Harris as good as the guy on the other side here today? Of course not. No one's going to admit that. But when you got a guy that can get 4, maybe 5 yards on a clip, that's just going to help you open up the playbook more, whether it's going to be running or throwing it, getting it on the screen or whatever. Go ahead there, Podfather. You got something to say.
He's no Ezekiel Elliott. He can't just fall for 4 yards.
There you go. Cuervo, you had your hand up, my man.
Yeah. Because I know we got to move on. We're gonna have to go into rapid fire for sure.
Right.
I just want to say one last thing about this game. Since y'all wanted to bring up Justin Fields again and his shortfalls in Chicago again, let me just point this out real quick. Isn't it funny how the beginning of the season, the Pittsburgh Steelers were winning football games in spite of the offense. Now, with Russell Wilson back, they're winning games because of the offense. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think it's a combination of both.
How it's changed like that ever since Wilson came back to be the starter.
I mean, look, I'm not mad at Cuervo for that. I mean, there has been, Wilson was always going to be the starter. Mike Tomlin has actually been clear about that. Like, I know we watch these TV shows, and there's smart people on those shows, like, the Dominic Foxworth, the Mina Kimes, Swagoo Spears. I even think Stephen A is a smart guy. He may be loud and have a big personality, but if you listen, smart guy. But Stephen A actually was talking about it, and he was consistent. He understood. Look, Mike Tomlin was always going to want to see what Russell Wilson can do. He was going to start the season. Now, if he faltered, you were going to go to Fields. But you were going to give this offense a chance to add an elite deep ball to it. And you're seeing what it can be. Also, Russell Wilson quietly, his ability, to Sonny's point with the legs, to be able to extend the play, he can still do that.
Yep.
He can't run like Justin Fields, but no one can. Justin Fields, to me, is a top 5 running quarterback in the league. He might be number 2 because of his explosiveness and speed. I might take him over Kyler Murray and Jaden Daniels in terms of running, and he can really run. But you were always his ability to extend the play, Russell Wilson, and get the ball downfield. Russell Wilson is a borderline Hall of Fame player. This idea that he couldn't play has always not been true.
Yeah.
Well, and plus, if you look at where he came from with what he did with Seattle, then you just really got to throw that Denver out the window, because you seen what was going on towards the end. So there was always that conflict from that, and you weren't going to get the best out of him.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I think you still saw good moments from Russ. I mean, they did beat the Kansas City Chiefs as a Bronco
last year,
in Denver. And like Bryce mentioned before in the past, I mean, I think at one point he had 22 touchdowns, 9 picks or something like that.
26 last year, 26 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, 26. So, that doesn't sound like a guy that can't play no more. That doesn't sound like a guy that has lost it as a quarterback in this league. It's just the problem was that him and Sean Payton didn't get along, and Sean Payton pretty much bullied him out of the organization because he didn't want to take a pay cut. But I'm not.
I think there's more
shading.
to that than the pay cut, though. Don't you think, Cuervo?
Say that again.
I think there's a little bit more to that besides the pay cut.
I think there was an ego, an attitude problem.
Sure. Okay.
I told this story before. I'll try to shorten it up. When Russ was there under Nathaniel Hackett, this guy had his own entourage. He had his own office. He was special treatment away from the rest of the team. Sean Payton came in there and said, we're stopping that. And Russ didn't like that very much. So I don't think that's happening in Pittsburgh I think Tomlin squashed that right away. Listen, dude, you're part of this team. You ain't special. You ain't, I think that was probably made very clear before he decided to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But no, my shade is not on the offense in general. It obviously my shade with what I'm saying is on Fields himself. And the reason I bring that up is because, if Fields' game was going to improve, it would have already. I feel like he's the same quarterback he was as a rookie as he is even going back to last year in Chicago. He has not improved. That's what people understand.
He hasn't progressed even when he was starting with the Steelers.
It's not about, the Bears didn't build around him. You know, if the Bears would have built around him, you're going to get the same results. That's what people don't understand. Is going to be the same result. He's not going to be looking downfield. He's going to tuck and run. He's going to miss opportunities.
But Cuervo, the thing is, he's never had a quarterback to look at and go, that's what I need to do. He's always been the guy in the front saying, okay, it's on me. I got to do what I got to do. So, so he's had no time to grow from that. He's had time to be thrown to the lions and go, well, this is the best you're going to get from me right now. Maybe he gets better the next week. We'll see.
Right.
He's never had the opportunity to sit there and go, okay, this guy is well above where this guy is where I want to be eventually. So
he hasn't had an example, is what you're saying.
Right. He hasn't had the example.
Yeah. He needs to sit.
Okay. And I tell you what, he's watched Russ play the past, Bryce?
Three games. Three games. Plus the bye week. Okay.
So we'll look down the schedule and we'll pick a game for Justin Fields to start and let's see how he looks. Yeah, I don't think throwing him against the Ravens would be fair. But let's pick a game where, we know Pittsburgh, it's a lesser of an opponent. And let's just see how he does. I say let's try that experiment. If it was up to us.
We got the Browns. Hey, you got the Browns next week.
Play him against Cleveland then. Let's see how he.
Yeah, you got the Bengals the next week after that.
But see, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Like, I think Justin Fields played good football for us, but again, I wouldn't. It just doesn't come down to 6 games to me. To the Podfather's point, Cuervo, this guy needed to come in his rookie year and not play at all. I'm talking sit for a year, develop the guy, let him watch the backups. Now, if injuries happen and he has to play, you can't do anything about that. Like this year, I don't think he would have played that much if Russell Wilson started from game one and was playing very competent football. We wouldn't even see Justin Fields. Russ got hurt in training camp, and they had to bring him along because they didn't want the calf to get hurt. He needed to sit in Chicago. You sit for a year, and then let's see if you're reading the field better in year 2. Or maybe you sit for half a year.
They tried that. They did. They tried to do that. The problem was that when organizations do that, where they draft a guy and they're like, okay, we're going to have him sit for a year or whatever, the guy that's ahead of him is a washed-up veteran, just like what the Bears did when they had Andy Dalton at quarterback. That's who he was supposed to sit and learn from, and that was supposed to be his mentor in Chicago.
Well, mothership on that one. They can get a quarterback that was better than Andy Dalton at the time.
Right. if Andy freaking Dalton, really, like if your goal is to have to draft a guy and to have somebody watch, have your rookie watch over somebody to help him develop, you don't get Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love watching Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre watching, or Aaron Rodgers watching Brett Favre. You don't get that very often. That was just crazy luck by by a team that you just got really lucky. That I mean, you don't ever see that in the league. No. Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, those are just really rare occasions where you draft a guy that is going to sit and watch and it's going to click for them. But the example has got to be the right example. Andy Dalton was not the right example for Justin Fields, but they did try it. It was just Andy Dalton was so bad that people started calling for Justin Fields to start. And that's where organizations make mistakes, where things go bad and they go bad quick. And it's a knee-jerk reaction, and they bring in the rookie, even though that wasn't the plan. Just like when the Bears had Mitch Trubisky, they brought in Mike freaking Glennon. Like, what are we doing here? That's who you want your rookie quarterback to learn from, is Mike freaking Glennon. And then when it doesn't go right as expected, now you got to throw Mitch Trubisky in because people are calling for the rookie to start.
You know what, though? I mean, at the end of the day, though, like when you're brought in as a rookie quarterback, you have your eyes on everything. Who's in front of me, how I need to progress, what's going on around the whole entire NFL, because you have access to watch all that stuff. Right. You can progress sitting, just sitting there, not maybe watching the guy in front of you, but watching what's around you. And I don't think he had that opportunity. Wishing that, not granted, he said he had Andy Dalton to work off of, but he could have looked elsewhere too. He could have said, "Hey, what's Jalen Hurts doing over there in Philadelphia? What's Kyler Murray doing over in Arizona?" I mean, not that those are great examples. I'm just saying he had a chance to look around. And the fact that when he would get out there on the field and like, this is what you got and this is the best you're going to have, there's no progression there. So now this for him to sit there on the sideline in an outfit where he was a starter and say, okay, this guy was way better than I am right now, but this is what I can aspire to be. Whereas, like you said, Dalton was just sitting there just like, collecting a paycheck, and doing this thing. But, I mean, it's so hard to say what's the right answer, because like you said, there are some quarterbacks that are boom right off the bat. They go in there and then they knock it out. Then they get the sophomore slump, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, what are you? Are you good? Are you bad? Look at RG3. RG3 came into the league. He set the league on fire. He made the Washington, at that time, Redskins look like a dominant team. Then what happened? Year 2 happened. And then the league figured him out. Yeah. So, the thing is, the league figured out Justin Fields way before he got to Pittsburgh. And the thing is, he did nothing to make it better. So now he can sit back and watch. I'm not saying Trey Lance in Dallas is getting that opportunity in Dallas because he needs to be thrown to the wolves to find what the hell we got with him. But, I mean, at the same time, you've had a chance to learn from guys way better than you. Now he has the opportunity to do that here with the Steelers. And I think that's a good thing for him.
Well, you know what? Then the only thing I can say about it, Trey, is if Fields gets another opportunity, let's see what happens. At this point, that's all you can really say.
But I will say that it can't happen this year though, because I looked at the teams they got to play this year. They got the Browns twice, they got the Bengals twice, they got the Chiefs once. I mean, their schedule leading towards the end of this year is hard to get through. I mean, Bengals may not be as great as we think they are, but they're still going to be a tough out. The Browns, you never know. Throw the records out the window. We'll see what happens. And the Chiefs, who knows where they're going to be by then? I mean, they'll be undefeated. I think they'll already at least have one loss by then. But we'll see. I mean, but this is not the year for him. He had his preseason and he had extended preseason to see what he could do. Now let's let the main guy get his start and see where that goes. And if he gets hurt, Justin Fields is your guy.
All right, Bryce. How long do we got you? You about ready to kick, or
I actually have to head out. But good talk, good discussion. Always a lot of fun. enjoy today's games. You know I will. I can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait either. I hope that's on Red Zone a lot today because that's gonna make for a very interesting day. I can't believe I'm the only one going Ravens. I'm at least as far as this group here.
I can believe it.
But that's not a shot at your Steelers. I just think they're the best right now. I just think they're the best team in the AFC right now.
You know, for him to be your guy and you're turning against his team, that's hard to deal with, sir. So hard to deal with.
All right, fellas.
Gotcha. Good to see you, Bryce. We'll catch you next week. We didn't get the 3 points of emphasis on that game.
I think that's why he bailed out, Sonny. He's going to work on that.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, exactly. Get it.
He's
all
got
set.
45 minutes. He got 45 minutes to put it out there on Facebook. So give him a minute.
Exactly. So now that being said, coffee reheat, guys. Is that where we're at? And then we'll go into rapid fire. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. We'll go into go into a break. We'll put on Annie and get her take from what she heard or saw, which is always a fun thing here up on the show. And when we come back, what we'll do, we'll rapid fire it and get it all set and ready to go. Let me get this thing set. Share screen. And where is it? Right there. All right. And share. Here we go. And we'll make it big here. Boom and play. Well, how come I can't hear it? Oh, because, okay. All right. That's why. All right. So I got to go back to it. Here it is right here. Let's pause and we'll restart it. There we go. Put the volume on. Here we go.
All right, everyone. It is Salute to Service Month. Make sure you thank our veterans. Unlike the Colts, our veterans actually did give us the best chance to win. Also, election ads are now over. We've had a lot of presidents, and no one has been a worse commander-in-chief than Carson Wentz. Before we get into games, the Cowboys traded a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo. In Jerry's defense, he thought they said bingo, which is what he should be playing somewhere in a retirement home. Ravens Bengals, get in here, please. Yeah, sorry about Derrick Henry's pants. We did not mean to have everyone see all that ass on TV. That's okay. They're used to watching your pass defense. Before we move on, this Thanksgiving, we have to watch the Bears, Giants, and Cowboys play. The Pilgrims had malaria, and even they had a better Thanksgiving. Spend time with your family, kids. The political conversations are going to be more entertaining. We get to enjoy our Thanksgiving meal twice this year. Once when we eat it, and again when we throw it up watching Daniel Jones. In our defense, he can't turn it over in the red zone if he never gets into it. Okay, New York, Daniel Jones got sacked on a flea flicker when he had 2 wide open receivers. Bryce Young is very intimidating, okay? The beer over there is taller than him. You know, everyone over here is saying bonk Daniel Jones. I think it's like danke, like thank you.
In German means bench.
You know, you should really learn German. You speak German and you still don't know what a catch is. Can we talk about Mahomes asking the ref for help now? He was asking about the right tackle. This might be fraudulent 9-0 team since the 2020 Steelers. That is not true. We've worked up until 10-0. Okay, well, everybody just calm down on the officials to help the Chiefs. That reminds me, Zach Bryan will be at the next Chiefs game. He's now becoming a fan since they both pay off people to look good. While you're here, let's do your game. Did you see George Pickens? Yeah, when he WWE slammed our guy. Tell NFL Draymond Green to calm down. Also, Mike Williams had more touchdowns this week than the entire Jets offense combined. Pittsburgh, that was a great throw to Mike. The safety was sitting at the sticks. That was a great call on 3rd down. Well, we were going to throw it short when you have to convert. Who would do that? Yeah, right. You, Kirk. Kirk, why did you throw a check down on the last play of the game? Kirk is already in postseason form. We just take a moment to appreciate Dennis Allen would be apologizing for this. Yeah, but remember when I was swag surfing? And now you're sad paddleboarding. The girl from Soul Surfer has 1 arm and she had more swag surfing than you. Okay, Vikings, Jags, Minnesota. I have a list here for Sam Darnold of everyone he can target other than Justin Jefferson. Madison, PJ Hawkinson, the other team's defense, but he already does that. Did he get through it yet? I'm still on my first read. Somebody get Doug Peterson in here. Okay, Doug, what did you call on that last play to Mac Jones? It is way too complicated. You wouldn't figure it out. Oh, really? Because what it looked like was a concept called Detroit, with the 2 main routes being the sail route by Brian Thomas Jr. and the post route by Gabe Davis. But what really makes this play is the return route by Washington on the inside, which allowed Mac Jones a clear look against a cloud corner. That's what I thought. Mac, what did he tell you? He said throw ball high with a little smiley face. The statue of you outside the Eagles Stadium could have called a better game. All right, we have to do it. Bears Patriots. As if their season isn't bad enough already, Matt Eberflus's phone call on ESPN radio dropped 3 times before they canceled the interview. The good news is he is very used to 3 and outs. Get him in here. Okay, we are making big changes. If you bench Caleb Williams, that would be the painted nail in the coffin. You know, they should really consider drafting a quarterback. The good news is he won't throw their season away because he doesn't throw anything away. The Bears have hit rock bottom more than Patrick Starr. Caleb will be fine, okay? We are not ruining another quarterback's career. Your quarterbacks have been so mistreated, Zach Bryan would have them sign an NDA. Quick side note, the last season of Yellowstone came out this week. Fans are upset that John Dutton was unalived in the first 7 minutes. And that still is not the worst Cowboys season this year. They must have hired Mike McCarthy since he's so used to ending a Cowboys series. You are the worst. Dak is out for the season. Cooper Rush looks horrendous. Your O-line's atrocious. Zeke is fumbling. But don't worry, the sun will come out tomorrow, right in your players' faces. Just a couple more games. 49ers Bucks. Why was Debo dressed like Shannon Sharp? It's the style. And his shorts still had better coverage than the Bucks secondary. Look, just give Aaron one more chance, okay? Aaron Rodgers had better odds to win the presidential election than the Super Bowl. Did you guys see Kyler get absolutely crushed in that game? I haven't seen a small man get hit that hard since Dave Portnoy's diss track. 5 interceptions and we still won. It's like Bill O'Brien never left. Detroit, congratulations. I would like to apologize. I did not think you could do it. The last time the Lions were on a cliffhanger, Mufasa died. Lastly, Tua once again lowered his head to make a tackle. If he needs an example of how to stop using your head, just watch Sean McVay.
Oh. Well, look at this. Oh, he did it again. Big right hand. Well,
fighters often think that.
Recently, and for no reason at all, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass f- Do you know how big their legal department is, face?" So to recap, Mint is actually lowering prices on every plan to just $15 a month. And I will stay the hell out of the legal department.
At the Jerry Bullet Training Center, we are a motivated team of coaches with the mindset of helping you achieve and reach your highest goals. Having developed and trained over 100 Division I athletes as well as Division II athletes, even professional athletes, the Bullet team definitely has the knowledge and mindset to take you to the next level. Check out our new 22,000 square foot facility and 3,000 square foot weight room, along with 4,500 square feet of outdoor turf and covered training area, along with football and soccer field. Contact Melvin Bullitt at 214-326-7853 or visit their facility just outside of Waterview at 8900 Princeton Road in Rowlett. The prospect of retirement can be exciting and scary at the same time. At Nest Egg Wealth Advisors, we have found many people either approaching or currently in retirement fail to truly maximize some of the benefits offered to them, primarily Social Security. What is it? How does it work? It's simply not a benefit that you start receiving at age 62. Because these decisions are so important, my firm has assembled an informational packet on Social Security. If you would like a complimentary copy of Social Security Maximization, please give our office a call today at 972-412-6064 or visit us on the web at nesteggadvice.com. Let Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors help you restore your home to its like-new condition. Need a contractor? Let us be your first stop as well as your last. We specialize in everything that others don't, such as stained concrete floors, wood spot repairs on doors and floors, stainless steel spot repairs, anti-slip-on floors, and more. Want to see what kind of work we do? Check out our Facebook page and you can see the craftsmanship you'll receive and expect from Buffalo Creek Doors and Floors. Give Rodney James a call at 214-536-2607. That's 214-536-2607. Or check him out on the web at www.buffalocreekdoorsandfloors.com.
Recently, and for no reason at all, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Big Wireless has once again raised their prices. In response, we're bringing back our deflation promotion. The marketing department asked me to be as explicit as possible when explaining it. So, here we go. Because we don't love f***ing our customers over like Big Wireless. We're bringing back our offer for f***ing unlimited premium wireless for only $15 a month. F*** me to the moon and back. That's a great f***ing deal. Explicit enough, marketing f***s.
All right, everybody, welcome back into the Couch Potato Sports Show. Alongside the Podfather, I'm Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio. We also got Cuervo. He's probably brewing up a new pot of coffee. And Thursday night, or watch that. Oh, gotcha. Root beer. Friday night lights, the Saxon Mustangs, unfortunately, were not able to advance into the Texas State playoffs. They got pretty much wound up really bad against the Rockwall Yellow Jackets and were not able to proceed into the end of the year tournament. But still a good season for them, going undefeated within the district, as well as only one loss on the season during the regular season, going up against, at the time, the third best team in Texas, and that being the Coppell Cowboys. Now, they've fallen since then, but anyway, Duncanville, that's who they would be facing, and that's a good football team. That's number 3 in the nation. Forget about the state. So it's a pretty damn good football team. So pretty successful season for Coach Red Baron and the Saxon Mustangs. Will be bringing you the action next year as well. Looking forward to that. So that being said, since I got them right here, we'll go to Monday Night Football.
Let's not.
And your Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, let's not.
They're going up against Houston. This is a very. I'm not impressed in reality for the last 2 weeks of the Houston Texans.
I'm not either.
I'm not saying I'm impressed with the Dallas Cowboys for the last 2 weeks. Okay.
So what's up to Eagles here?
I get it. I see what you're saying, and that makes sense. I get it, but this is a game that if you're the Houston Texans, I think you really need to worry about in reality. I mean, because the Dallas Cowboys are not a good football team, but they can maybe ink one out, and I don't know if this is the one that they can ink one out. In reality, in all things looking at this, the Dallas Cowboys shouldn't win this football game. Okay. That's just the way it is. However, I don't like in-state rivalries, even though this is a relatively new rivalry. We already know who really is the better team in reality. But if the Dallas Cowboys show up, that could make a very interesting football game. And again, this game is in Dallas, which wow, they had that match, that boxing match on Friday. And then they had to turn it around and get ready for an NFL football game.
But you know what, though? It's weird, though, because normally they'd have Texas and Arkansas playing there, maybe, right? But they played in Fayetteville, so that was that. Yeah,
so, I don't know. But, do you have any chance? I mean, you look at the Dallas Cowboys. You know what they are about. I mean, do they have really any chance here today?
Any given Sunday, anybody can win a game.
Monday, yeah.
Or whatever. Any given playing day, they can, a team can come out from anywhere and win. Here's the thing, and who's the starting quarterback going to be? Is it going to be Cooper Rush? Is it going to be Trey Lance? They haven't really said. I don't put any of last week on Cooper Rush because, people say, well, that's the Cooper Rush we expect. Well, here's the thing. Cooper Rush had weapons around him. He had weapons around him, and that's why he was able to have the success he had last year in winning games. He doesn't have anything nearly like that this year. No running game, barely any receivers, and he doesn't have an offensive line, and he doesn't have anything to help him out. This is a game that Houston needs to win because all eyes will be on them.
Mm-hmm.
They need to show the world never mind the last couple of weeks, we haven't been impressive, but we're going to take the most storied franchise team in the NFL and destroy them. They need to do that.
I agree.
Because say what you want, the Steelers couldn't do it, and a lot of teams. I mean, while the game was definitely a blowout earlier on, the Ravens can't say that they didn't just bury the Cowboys. They buried them in the first 3 quarters, but they let Dallas come back in the fourth quarter. So Houston needs to put their foot on their throat and just squeeze until this thing's over. Because here's the thing, nothing's going to change in Dallas until the end of the season. We get that. They're not going to be any better. They won't be any worse. They're already bad as is. Okay? So, do I think they can win another game before the end of the year? There's a possibility. I don't put any faith into it. Again, I was saying 6-11 early in the year. I think I was being really gracious on that now. The more I think about it,
especially without Dak.
Right. Well, I mean, even with him, they're that bad. Because again, I can't fault the quarterback because he had no one around him. He had no one behind him. He had no one around him. He had no one protecting him. And now and I'm not saying the injury was caused by his offensive line because it's a freak accident. It's him staying in the pocket and just tore off the bone. But the thing was, it couldn't have had a better time for a guy to get out of the season like this year.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the most. If anybody's ever a winner in this league, it's him. He's got his money, and he got out of a really shitty year for the man of the year. Mm-hmm. So kudos to him for that. Look, Houston needs to dominate. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They need to because right now people are losing interest in them really quick, and that is it. Could be the sophomore slump. It could be the RG3 effect. It could be whatever we want to call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Stroud needs to show that defense. And by the way, don't run. Micah Parsons, he might have a hell of a game. He might have 3 or 4 sacks that game. But how many plays are gonna? I mean, it's like the Tyson fight. Tyson only got 18 punches on Jake Paul, 18. The rest of the time, Paul just whipped his ass the entire time. So, you have no matter you take how many times you're gonna fall down the game, how many times you're gonna be able to stand up and get yards. I think Stroud can do that a lot better than whoever the quarterback for Dallas is going to be. Mm-hmm. By the way, I called it last week. We should see what the hell Trey Lance has. They threw him out there at the end of the game last week. To hell with that. Let him start. This season's lost. Let's see what he can do. Let's have some fun with it. Let's have some trickery. Let's do things that we normally wouldn't do. Mike McCarthy's not coaching for next year. We know this. If he was, he'd have a contract by now. So, that's that. I mean, the fact is, you go balls to the wall with nothing to gain. Just go out there and have fun with this. Look, these guys are. There's a pride factor in a lot of these guys on this team, and they're watching a lot of other players on here not have that, and that's pissing them off. So I just think Houston needs to put their foot on the throat and just squash them and squash whatever hope they have, if they have any hope at all, which I don't think there is. They should just let it happen and hey, start Trey Lance, Rico Dowdle's your running back. Good luck with all that, and just see what can happen. Don't expect much. And for a Monday night, trust me, the NFL looked at this game earlier in the year and went, this is going to be a great game to have for Monday night. Now they're like, well, can we flex out?
No question. The battle of the Texas teams is what they were really looking at, and they were hoping that Dallas Cowboys.
Well, they're hoping Stroud's being the up-and-coming quarterback against Dak Prescott, a guy who should have already had it by now.
Absolutely.
So
that no argument there. Cuervo, what's your take up on Monday Night Football?
Well, yeah, like the Podfather said, I think that when the game was scheduled, obviously you were expecting Dak Prescott, CJ Stroud leading their teams in that game, and it's not going to happen. So it sucks, but we'll see what the Cowboys have, and let's see how much. Yeah, like you said, you play for the pride. Hey, we still are the team to represent the state of Texas. I think you'll see some of that, but ultimately Houston wins the game.
Yeah, don't see very much. Cooper Rush, as much as he did well last year, Podfather's right. They don't have weapons, and throwing them out there. I agree. And not starting Trey Lance is actually. Then why do you even have him on your football team? Let's be honest. And this is just not knowing. I'd much rather have and. This is not even knowing how Trey Lance will play. I'd much rather have Trey Lance out there right now. What you get with Cooper Rush. You don't know what you're going to get with Trey Lance. Throw him out there. See what's going to end up happening. But they are not going to do that. They're putting in Cooper Rush. that is going to be the ultimate fall on that one as well. I think you had a chance with Trey Lance because you don't know what the defense doesn't know what's going to be coming in front of them with the Trey Lance at the quarterback position. So that ultimately on there. So that being said, we're all up on the Houston Texans and then the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. Oh, I don't even have anything to say about this game. The way Detroit won that game last week, it has everything that the Jacksonville Jaguars doesn't have. They have heart. There is no heart on this football team. There is no quarterback that is, getting what he needs to be a good quarterback. The coaches lost the locker room. There is nothing Jacksonville is going to be able to do to get a victory in Detroit. And with everything that's being talked about, the Jaguars are obviously not going to make a midseason change. They're going to ride the storm out, and that's yet another team that's going to be looking for a head coach next year, my Jacksonville Jaguars. Who it's going to be, I don't know. I would love to have Flores. Flores would be my number one guy. I don't think he's going to be able to be in the running for it, but that's just my pick. I'll just throw it to Cuervo, Detroit, Jacksonville. What's your look on that?
Honestly, Sonny, I think if the Jaguars lose bad enough today, I think you're getting a head coaching. I'm gonna slap the table on this one. You're getting a new head coach tomorrow. You're getting a new head coach tomorrow if they get blown out by the Detroit Lions.
Wow. So you think that happens?
Yes.
He thinks that happens. Podfather, what you look up on this one?
Who are they playing this week?
Jacksonville and Detroit.
Who's Jacksonville playing?
Detroit in Detroit.
Yeah, forget it. Detroit's Detroit's the class of the NFC right now, and they need to play like that because the Niners aren't that right now, and no one in the East is going to be that right now. So clearly, Detroit needs to be the team that everybody is talking about. And Detroit needs to play like that, too. And look at a team like Jacksonville and do what Houston should do to Dallas. Squash them.
Yep.
But, we'll see what happens. I mean, again, strange things have happened.
Wait, so you're picking the Jaguars, Trey? I was having a Sonny moment.
I'm having issues here.
Oh, okay. He says you're picking the Jaguars then?
Oh,
no, I was having a Sonny moment.
Yeah,
I was having a
picking Miami. What?
In Miami, hey. By the way, I got 2 island games last week.
I'm having buffering issues here. I'm having Netflix issues right now, so bear with me.
Yeah, there you go. I got 2 island games last week: the Chicago Bears and the Miami Dolphins game. 2 island games that I was on. So I feel pretty good about myself. But that being said,
pat yourself on the back, Sonny.
Yeah, I know my arm hurts. From doing it. But all right, so that takes us to Minnesota and Tennessee. Interesting story about Tennessee is not who's at their coaching, is who's being talked about a lot as head coaching Mike Vrabel, and I would love to have me Vrabel as well down in Jacksonville. That being said, he's being talked about a lot, but the team isn't being talked about a lot. This is a football team that doesn't seem to, but they're sneaky. That's what they are, but I don't know if they're sneaky enough to get past Minnesota, Cuervo. And this game is in Tennessee. So the question is how's Minnesota get past a sneaky football team that could be good at times, but bad at the others?
No, I think even though I talk about Tennessee as a good, they're a physical team, Minnesota's even more physical. So give me the Vikings.
Yeah, not much to really talk about unless Podfather has something about the Tennessee Titans we don't know.
You got the Minnesota Vikings versus the Titans. Give me the Vikings.
Vikings. All right, so not much analysis on that. So I didn't think we'd have a problem going through too much of the rapid fire. Miami gets the Raiders. So, Podfather, Raiders in Miami, man. Miami pulls off a Monday night football win. They looked halfway decent. Raiders not a really good football team. What's your take on this week?
Well, I heard Gardner Minshew is going to be named the starting quarterback of the Raiders, so that kind of answers that question.
Yep.
Yeah, give me Miami. Miami's, you know, it's fun to see Miami look like they're a decent team.
Yeah.
It's fun to see that because we haven't seen it in a long time. So,
yeah,
give me that.
Cuervo, Miami. Raiders in Miami.
Dolphins.
Say again?
Dolphins.
All right. So nothing to even say on this one. I agree. Nothing to say much. Gardner. Can we finally admit that Gardner Minshew sucks? Can we do this? Can we all be? Yeah. So Cuervo. I mean, Gardner Minshew sucks, right? I mean, I'm not wrong, right?
I don't know that he sucks. He's okay. I don't know if he sucks, but yeah, no, I like Miami because they're looking like the offense that we all expected them to be because your boy Tua is back and he's 100%.
And he seems to be playing well too. So So the Rams go cross country to take on the New England Patriots. Is that going to help New England that them going cross country, Cuervo?
Very little. I used to believe in that whole, it matters traveling across country. We've seen too many games where the West Coast teams will go to the East and win. So just because of, the talent difference, I'll take the Rams.
I'm kind of prone to look at the Rams and say they're the better team, but they played like garbage last week. But they can always come back. So that's the big question. I mean, from week to week. Podfather, what's your look?
This is kind of a pick'em game for me because every time I don't pick the Patriots, they freaking win.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rams, every time I pick the Rams, they lose. So it's kind of like, which way do I go here? I'm going to go Rams only because of the home field advantage, but that's going to be a tough game, though, because both teams aren't that great.
Actually, they're playing in New England, just to let you know.
Oh, they're playing New England. Once again, I got buffering issues there. I got Netflix issues. But no, I got, well, shoot, in that case, let me think about that for a second. You know what? Give me the Patriots. I'll be different. Give me the Patriots.
All right, make the clip on your picks. You might be on an island on that one. I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, right now the way picks have been going, I need to be on an island right now because I'm not doing too well.
So, Cleveland we didn't really get into this one. Cleveland and New Orleans, Cuervo. Interesting game. New Orleans should have won. They are the one that stopped me from having the perfect week last week, the bums that they are. And Cleveland, I mean, I don't know what to even think about Cleveland, where their head's at in this game. So Cleveland and it is in New Orleans.
Yeah, people are trying to sell this as the Jameis Winston revenge game. Like, give me a break. Like, nobody cares about that.
No one cares.
But I had a feeling that the Saints were gonna win last week just because that's how it goes when a new head coach comes in. There's a new spark of energy, which is why I had like a very, very, very little bit of hope that the Bears can actually pull this off today. New OC, but we'll see. No, but give me. I'll take who Saints and Browns, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I like the Saints. I mean, Cleveland's a hot mess, just like Chicago.
Podfather.
Oh, give me the Saints.
Oh, you worked really hard on that. I hate to pick the Saints because guess what? They're the one that cost me it. But I'm gonna go. Cleveland is.
Get over it, Sonny. Get over it.
I know. I know, but I can't. But
You're
Cleveland right
beating
now,
me.
Cleveland's the
Look,
dumpster fire right now.
You're
So.
beating me and Cuervo right now on our picks. Okay, enjoy it while you have it.
Oh, am I? I didn't. I just know I'm in fourth, but I know I'm behind my brother. I don't know who's at.
Well, I didn't know that Cuervo missed an entire week of picks, so you know.
Well, first morning,
I
yeah.
can't believe I did that.
Hurts his feelings. So, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go New Orleans. I really honestly, yeah, I don't know. It's such a horrible game. And you want to talk a horrible game? The Jets in Indianapolis. I mean, good Lord have mercy. Can it get any more uglier than this in reality? I don't know if Richardson's starting. I'm going to check that out as we go.
He is.
But
he is.
He is going to start. Interesting. So he's back. So is that a game changer for you to take the Colts over the Jets there, Cuervo?
No, not really. I think I'm surprised that the team didn't say F you to Richardson. And we'll see. Maybe they do today. Maybe the offensive line just suddenly forgets how to block. I don't know. We'll see. But when a guy taps his helmet and quits on the team the way that he did, first of all, I don't even see how you bring him back. Number two, we'll see how the team responds to him being back in the lineup. So with all that said, I'll take the Jets. Give me the Jets.
Podfather.
I said this last week. I will never pick the Jets ever again after last week. But I'm going to say it for next week. So I'm picking the Jets this week.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. It's like, oh my God.
I don't. I mean, they're like Arizona. I don't trust them.
Yeah.
When I don't pick them, they it's just a whole should I or shouldn't I thing. Look, the Jets are saying we want Aaron Rodgers back next year. Does that happen? I have no idea. There's a lot of faith in them. I mean, I give them credit. They got faith in the general manager. General manager Aaron Rodgers is going to do good things for him, I'm sure. But
the $100 million man in 2 seasons that they dumped into him. So actually 108 because he gets paid $54 million. So there you go. So 2 years, $108 million experiment.
I got a spread ankle. I'd love to get paid that kind of money.
Yeah, and a whole year of not playing. So really interesting. Does he have his head about himself? I don't know. I don't think so. Parts of me wants to take Indianapolis just because of the fact that right now, but the defense for the Jets is where I think it ends up winning this game for him in reality.
Pick Indianapolis.
Stop.
Pick them.
Yeah.
Come on, Cuervo. We have to root them on. Come on. Pick Indianapolis. Pick the Colts.
No, I wanted to, but I just can't do
it.
To. And plus, I
Come on, don't be
I agree with Cuervo. The fact that this guy gave up on his team, I don't know how you get over that with your teammates. I don't know. I don't know if there's a good explanation. I don't know if there was a team meeting with him talking. I don't.
We're a Kyler Jenner nation, sir. Come on.
I'm just saying. I'm just Jets.
I'm just saying. Hey, players are going to go, hey, look, how many players are Southern going, we quit on our team too. Don't worry about it. I'm going to switch computers real quick.
All right. Then I'm moving on. Oh, we just lost him.
I think he's going to refresh. He's probably going to refresh.
He's going to. Yeah. So that being said, next game up on board is, hey, in Denver, you get the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Atlanta Falcons, not a bad football team right now. Denver, are they good? I don't know. I'm not sure. But you got to make a decision. There he is. He's back. Denver at home, it's always a hard out because it's Denver and and everything. But Atlanta playing some pretty good ball. Not great, but pretty good. So, Cuervo, what's your take up on this in Denver? This one, I'm very interested to find out what Cuervo thinks.
Yeah, it's very simple for me, Sonny. Happy spouse, happy house. Denver,
exactly.
Yeah. So Denver.
Can't relate to that, but go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, that's great analysis right there. So happy house, happy. So Podfather, do you have anything to add up on that?
Yes, yes, I do. Yeah, I want Cuervo to be happy, and I want him to have a good week. So I'm pulling for the Broncos.
You're pulling for the Broncos. Well, I
Yeah.
can't do it. I would like to do it.
Somebody's team in this house needs to win, and it's probably going to be Denver.
Good luck with good luck with that, because I'm going Atlanta. They're the better team right now. Bo Nix could have a good game though and destroy that whole thing, but I think the Atlanta defense is going to be able to stop them. Hopefully, they did some training to get ready for that. The difference in altitude and everything. That all football teams should do to get ready for Denver, which I don't understand why they don't. But there's certain things you can do. I don't know, but Kirk Cousins, he's better than Bo Nix. I think the offense is better. I just think the all-around better team is Atlanta. I don't know how. Well, Denver's favored because of being at the home, being home. So I think that's the reason why you see it. So, but I'm going to go Atlanta.
I'm getting a threat here by Cuervo's wife on my phone saying, "You better pick the Broncos, you motherfucker."
So, Seattle is on the road taking on San Francisco. I don't have anything to say about this game. Anything to say about this game in reality?
Wait, which one, Sonny? I missed that.
Seattle and San Francisco.
No, I mean it's just another one of the games during rivalry week. Niners, they're getting healthy again. Except George Kittle's going to be out today.
Yeah.
Who's going to be out?
George Kittle.
Okay. Gotcha. Podfather.
This is, honestly, I can see where Seattle pulls off the upset. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to. I can see it. This is a week where they do it because San Francisco's getting their guys back. They might be kind of a little out of sync with each other right now. Seattle, they're not a great team. We know that. We know who Geno Smith is and all this stuff. But the thing is, they can still be a tough out. But I'm going to go.
I would agree with you, Trey, if the game was in Seattle.
Right, that's true. But the thing is, this could be a game where San Francisco's not taking them seriously either. Like they're looking at Seattle saying, "Well, this should be an easy win for us," and all of a sudden they're down, 20-17, sitting there going, "Oh shit, we got to get back in this damn thing." It could easily happen. I mean, it's the NFL, so.
Division rival, I don't see that happening.
Remember, while they are the Niners division rivals, same thing with the other team. I mean, they got to look at the same. We got to win this game no matter what. Because who's got more to lose right now?
I would say San Francisco does.
Yeah, but Seattle's sitting there going, "This is our season if we can't do nothing."
Yeah. All I'm saying is I don't think they're taking each other lightly. That's all I mean. It's a division game.
All right.
These teams hate each other. It ain't being taken lightly at all.
So
maybe not, but we'll see.
All right, and I'm going to go to Sunday Night Football before we go to the last game. Sunday Night Football is the Chargers and Cincinnati in Los Angeles. Cincinnati supposedly getting back on this night. I don't know. The Chargers, they're kind of slowly moving it, with little wins here and there, on the field and from week to week. Are they put together enough to take care of the Bengals today, who are desperate? I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing in reality, Cuervo, especially when you're on your road. What's your take?
This is tough for me, Sonny. This game is tough because, I think about the pass rush of the Chargers against that Bengal offensive line. Then I think about, okay, Joe Burrow and Chase are starting to connect. I mean, they're clicking right now. Can the Bengals stop the run of the Chargers, the run game? So there's a lot to factor in. That being all said, I think I lean towards Cincinnati. I think they'll find a way. T. Higgins is back for the Bengals. So I think the Bengals find a way, but it's going to be a really, really close game. And I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, SoFi Stadium there, Podfather.
I just switched my pick from the Bengals to the Chargers.
You just made the change.
I talked him out of it.
Just made the change. Yes, you did. No. Actually, no. I looked at the idea that the Bengals still are still not the Bengals that we gotten used to the last couple of years. They're still struggling. The Chargers
They're
are
still the Bengals.
Yeah, the Chargers are becoming more up and coming. They're starting to figure things out a little better. They're at home. Not that the LA crowd's a big deal, but let's face it, there's probably more Chargers fans there than there are, Bengals fans. So I think that's going to be a big issue there for them. And my damn computer, I hate it. But anyway, give me the Chargers. I'm gonna go Chargers on this one.
I'm gonna go the other side. I'm gonna go Cincinnati. I think it's clicking. It's a slow click.
Good.
But
I need this, Sonny. I need
turn
this.
that around too.
I know.
So,
you're right. I need this.
Yep.
I don't care.
Yeah. So
I'm going all or nothing right now. This is unlike Jerry Jones, whose all or nothing was bullshit. Mine's all or nothing because I've got my trophy to defend here.
Yeah, you got to defend it. Good luck with that, especially in this game. That's going to be a good game, I think, all around. But here's the thing, the Herbert situation, the consistency coming from him, we're still not seeing yet. I don't know if Jim Harbaugh's able to get whatever he's trying to get across to him to help him be better. But as of right now, we still need to see more from them. Again, Cuervo said it earlier in the show. We know who Joe Burrow is. He took his team to the Super Bowl. And when it's crunch time like it is, I think I want to go with the crunch time quarterback, and I'm going to go ahead that. So that leads us to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills is obviously the game of the week. This should be on Sunday Night Football. The game is in Buffalo. So, Podfather, what's your take up on this one? I
want to hear what y'all have to say first.
Okay, then Cuervo, and then I'll go, or you want me to go first, Cuervo?
No, I'll go first.
Okay.
Yeah. I really, a lot of people, including myself, thought Buffalo would take a step back, but they clearly haven't. I think Josh Allen's having the best year so far of his career, which is crazy. It's addition by subtraction, right? Stephon Diggs leaves, he becomes a better quarterback. It's just crazy how that happens, but
addition by subtraction.
Yeah. Listen, I really want to see Buffalo win, but I think that we all know how this game is going to play out. I don't work for ESPN or the NFL Network or anything like that, so I can say what the hell I want to say. We all know how this game is going to work out, okay? Especially hearing what I heard in that game last week against Denver. I'm just shocked, Sonny, that you weren't on this story or that the league hasn't been covering this story. There is audio of Patrick Mahomes asking the refs to let him know when defenders are near him. Is that even legal? Like, I'm legitimately asking if that's even a thing that can be done. I don't think it is. And for everybody to just sweep it under the rug it's insane to me. But that goes to show all the conspiracies of the refs help out the Kansas City Chiefs. It absolutely does happen. You can argue against it all you want. That, to me, was proof.
This game, I think, is getting overshadowed because of that. I don't.
It's a shame. It's a shame, Sonny. It really is.
I agree. It's something that if it's taken out of context, which some people are saying it is, I don't know. But here's what I think. When you are this football team, you are the new team of right now, the new era.
You're the darling.
And usually you get those calls. Okay. All right. And so that's where all this comes from. I want to believe that this is not actually happening. I think I got that in my heart. I don't want this. I want this to be out of context or something but it's I hate to say it's black and white because it's basically what he said. I don't think there's any context taken out that you could take out of it. I don't know. However, right now, I think the Buffalo Bills are the better team. Now, I said I wasn't going to pick against Kansas City all year long. I'm going to lie. I'm going on the Buffalo Bills side today. I just think right now they play 4 quarters more than the Kansas City Chiefs do. And I think that's going to be the key to the game in reality. It's a full 4 quarters. If this thing's close at the end, I'm going to regret my pick because Patrick Mahomes is who he is, and what he can do. But I'm gonna edge up on the side of Buffalo just because they've just been playing better for the last 4 weeks compared to the Kansas City Chiefs. So that being said, you got the analysis there, Podfather. What's your take up on today's game?
Buffalo needs to win this game. This is
I
a must
agree.
win. The Chiefs, not so much. I mean, going undefeated in an NFL season doesn't necessarily mean Super Bowl win because look at the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you much rather have the trophy than just the idea of being the team that went undefeated but couldn't win the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Playing in Buffalo, do you want to have that Buffalo wild ass crowd going nuts after you if you are showing favoritism towards another team? The referees don't want that. Cuervo, you're right. Josh Allen's playing the best football he's ever played. And he needs to continue to play that for this game. They need to go in there because, again, Kansas City is beatable. They're not blowing teams away.
Very much.
They're a player or two away from not being undefeated and being almost a 500 team. So, I mean, Buffalo needs to look at this and go, we got to go up 21 points in the first quarter and just keep hammering them every single quarter. And you got the home field advantage to help you out with that. You got that 12th man with the crowd. You've got everybody booing the shit out of Patrick Mahomes, which he's never really gotten used to. You know what? I'm going to go Buffalo. And I was hoping Sonny would stick with the damn Chiefs because I need one up on them.
Can I ask you a quick question, Trey? You said this is a must-win for Buffalo, right?
Right.
They're 8-2. Why is this a must-win for them?
They have to show because they know who the premier team in the AFC is. If you beat that team, now you've raised out. So I think because if they go in there and have the undefeated Chiefs beat the 8-2 Bills or whoever they are, then then people are going to look at that and go, well, that was expected. But what if? What this is that whole what if thing last year when the Texans played the Bengals last year, and everybody was going Bengals are going to beat the Texans. I said Texans need to win this one, and they won it. They showed everybody we're here to play. The Bills need to do that this year. They need to sit there and go, look, you can talk Kansas City Chiefs all you want to. Yes, they deserve to be on that mountain, but we're right there. And damn it, we're the team. I mean, you want to look at our history, we're the team that went to 4 Super Bowls and then won one of them. We have a lot to play for here. So I really do believe that the Bills will use this game as a catalyst to play out for the rest of the year. Now, if they lose, that can be detrimental to them to where, like, well, shit, we just can't beat that team. That's going to suck if we get down to the championship game. We got to play them. What's
right. See, now what's funny is Greg read my mind on that. That's where I was going with it. I think it's more of a statement game for Buffalo, not even for Kansas City. I think if Kansas City wins, which I do expect them to, we all know why it's going to happen. I just think the stakes are too high for Kansas City to be allowed to lose this game. So I think the Chiefs win. So but I definitely think it's a statement game that it can be for Buffalo. If they can, beat them, they can. They just got to prove it to themselves. That's the thing. They got to prove it to themselves. We can beat this team. They're beatable. We can do this. Now, when it matters most in the postseason, we'll see. But show them that you can do it. Show yourselves. Prove to yourselves that you can beat this team.
I think they have to. I mean, because that's all we've been talking about for the last 4 years is can the Bills get past them? I mean,
Right.
seriously, it's one of those things. And here, let me. This is according to Schwartz what he wrote and trying to defend this situation with letting them get close. He was offside and he wanted them to know when he was getting close when he was offsides. I'm not buying that neither. I'm having a hard time with this hot mic that picked this whole thing up, and I think it's something that the NFL almost has to look into, and the fact that they don't or won't will be a problem. I think that's something that will come back, and this one's not going to go away. Too much on a hot mic like that, I just think it's too much to where they
That's
can't.
the thing, though, Sonny. I haven't heard it brought up on any national platform.
Yeah,
None of them.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, but here's the thing, though. I mean, how much is that just like the funny animation they're doing, where like the press conference where they got the coach saying, "Well, fucking Dak Prescott's making fucking $60 million."
Yep.
I mean, how much of that is really real, though? I mean, he might can have a Muppet voice like Mahomes. Hell, I can do that.
Yeah, that was, but the hot mic was definitely live, so it's not like it was dubbed in. That was coming directly from the thing.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
I don't know. I guess parts of me wants to believe that is not a case, and I could be naive as much, but I'm not also buying the best bet here. That's coming from when he's offsides. He wants to know if he is close to him. I'm having a hard time buying it. So.
Hey guys,
Is there a conspiracy here? I don't know, but I will tell you that this is not good. And this is the first thing. This is what happens. If you see the Kansas City Chiefs, maybe drop a game or two, it could it be in how they're responding to this, and the big story there. I don't know, but yeah, I just think Buffalo's better right now. I really do. Go ahead.
I have breaking boxing news.
Uh-oh.
Jake Paul has challenged Jimmy Carter at age 100 to a boxing match after beating Mike Tyson at age 58.
I heard about that, man. So have they discussed the date yet? Is that
well? Hopefully before he dies. I mean, if you're at 100, if you're at 108, time is ticking. So
I know Jimmy. I think Jimmy's in hospice right now. So
don't worry about that. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Well, I mean, I don't know if it was real or not. I heard Logan was the next. Was next.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, at the fight that Tyson turned to Logan, says, "I get that thing on Logan Paul next," and then Logan's like, "Motherfucker, I'll kill you."
That's what I heard. So, well, we went through it. This is going to be an interesting week. I think this is going to be one, as far as the picks are concerned, within the bragging rights. I think it's going to be a real interesting week to see who goes up, who goes down. There's a lot of games that can go either way. And yes, there.
I gotta defend this, baby. I gotta defend this.
You better do it, baby. You better do it. So
kiss a goodbye after this year.
Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping to buy it for me. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see what happens.
Well, you can always do it anyway. Say, look, I was the second. You know what you should do? If you finish second, get you one that's bigger. Just like that. like that trophy I got behind me. Well, that was from 2 years ago, right? And that was for being the last place fantasy football team that I had. It's called the Shamey. And I won it 2 years in a row. I ain't even doing fantasy this year. I still got the damn trophy, so I need to turn it back to the owner. So I mean, so I'm hoping to replace that with that, but we gotta get to this year first. So
definitely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. What's Weber got to say? So far, he's right. So far, he is right.
Yep.
So
season's not over yet, though.
Dallas will be in last. Giants will be over them because the Giants are going to beat Dallas when they play. Just saying.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens with that. So that's going to do it for us here on the Couch.
It's no guarantee. It's no guarantee the Eagles are going to win that division. Greg's going to text me any minute now.
Watch.
All
I
right.
already know.
Hey, are you picking the
What
Commanders
you
to
mean?
win that division now?
So
But
you're
6
saying
in a
there's
row, you can't
chance.
argue with 6 in a row. But hey, it is what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and hold on, what's this, sir? Boom. Wait. Oh man, here we go. So, all right, so that's going to do it for us here on the Couch Potato Sports Show. Hope everybody has a good week. We'll be back next week as we will take a look at week number 12 of the NFL. Everybody have a good one. Cuervo, always good to see you, my friend. And, of course, Podfather, enjoy the rest of your day. You're going to work now?
No, I don't work today. I have a holiday off.
All right, there we go. Enjoy the
Nice.
NFL games, everybody. We're out of here. Take care. Bye-bye.